Hello to you, YouTube. It's Josh and
Ryan.
we're back for another episode of
Not just another episode.
the final episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Of
I
this
threw a
season.
curveball at you there. This is
It's
the
our-
last episode of season 1 of
Yes.
MovieKombat.
Yeah, and it's the last episode of our Alien Predator season.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes.
it took me a second. To
No,
think
no,
what the
it's
other
it's
series
it's
was.
been such a long journey, my friend,
Yes,
to the point where I question
it's been like a 300-year-long journey.
practically that long. Well, that's just the one though. We've traveled 3 centuries.
yeah, we're 200 years into the future on this one.
Well, not only that, we started in 1987.
Yeah,
And we've made it to 2379.
it's pretty nice this late in the game. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if I'd say it's pretty nice. Earth's a shithole. Ah, ha, ha.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, you'll get that later.
So, yeah, Alien Resurrection was our last film.
Yes.
And man, oh man.
Did you notice who wrote this one?
Who wrote it?
Yeah. Did you see
I
the
didn't
opening
see
credits?
I know.
Oh,
I saw that Sigourney Weaver produced this movie,
Yeah.
which shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah, I think she had one more alien in her. She was just like, I just kind of feel like playing a.
But she didn't want to do the last one.
Yeah, maybe she was doing it to kind of course correct the last one. She was probably just like,
Yeah.
I need to make it a little bit cool and crazy again.
Sure.
But yeah, our favorite Avengers alone.
Oh, yeah, Joss Whedon.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Joss
Whedon
Whedon
wrote this movie.
wrote the movie.
Back in his Buffy days.
Yes. Oh, man, it definitely had that vibe. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. 20th Century Fox logo
Yep.
just looks like a 20th Century Fox logo.
Yeah, they didn't do anything weird with this one.
But they did do something that was weird.
Yeah.
We get a close-up on this beetle, and I thought it was the grossest thing I have ever seen.
Yeah, it was like they tried to make CGI alien teeth out of it.
But
and-
then he squishes it, and it looks like a
Oh,
bloody
that-
booger.
Yeah, that whole thing.
And then he picks it up, and I'm like, oh, God, he's going to eat it.
That's what
he's
I
gonna
thought.
eat it. And then he puts it in the straw, and I'm like, nope, don't do that. And then he shoots it like a spitball.
Yeah, it was pretty weird. Like the guy, yeah, because it's like it's just a random bug
It's a random guy.
and a random guy that never shows back up.
Nope.
In the movie.
And then we get the Alien Resurrection logo.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, my God, that was the most anticlimactic logo fade in I've ever seen. It didn't even fade in.
yeah, it
it
was
just like,
kinda
here it is.
there.
Yeah, and then I wrote written by Joss Whedon. And then we get test tube, baby.
Oh, did you write stats for the ship or anything?
I did not. I'm gonna admit some stuff here. I didn't write a lot of stuff down. I mean, I wrote a lot of stuff, but I again skipped around. I watched it all the way through. I didn't look at my phone. I promised myself I'm gonna focus on this one. So that was a thing. But I watched it.
Okay, so it's the USM Auriga, medical research vessel, United Systems Military, which is the USM part. Crew 42 enlisted, 7 science officers. So that's oh, whoa.
Is that a little bit louder than?
Yeah, now I can really hear myself.
Yeah. Because I was noticing my peaks are a little bit higher. Can we get much higher? Okay, so there's so test tube baby. We get to see some test tube babies.
Yep. And it was weird because it was like an adult baby, but like like I know that sounds really strange. But like when it zooms in, it's like a baby that's like a full-grown adult.
Like I would say like in the preteen stage.
Oh, okay.
Of
Yeah.
what it is what we see.
Yeah,
because
it looked like an adult-sized fetus to me.
But
what
what was weird was as soon as I saw this thing, I'm like, great, we're getting more child porn in this fucking franchise. Like, I'm so sick and tired of seeing naked young late girls in these movies now.
Yeah.
Even though I know this wasn't a real one, The last one, I don't know. I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway. So we get a new Ripley, and I said new Ripley is the fifth element that grows xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Uh,
She quotes Newt when it zooms in on her face. Did you hear the quote?
no, I didn't hear it.
Oh, so that's the whole thing where she's saying, like, I never used to believe in monsters, or mommy told me that monsters weren't real, but they are, or whatever, because that's the same conversation that she's having with Newt when she's in Aliens, when she's in there trying to put her to sleep or whatever, and Newt's like, "Oh, mommy told me the monsters aren't real," so she basically says the same quote. It's just a callback.
I wrote man bun.
Man bun.
That's the guy from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, the scientist guy. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Grima Wormtongue. I think it's Stephen.
I refuse to refer to him as that.
Yeah, I think Stephen Duruff. I think that's his name, if I remember correctly.
I
But
don't know if I
yeah,
wanna refer to him
Chucky
as that too.
also, the voice of Chucky, if you will.
Clone Ripley is in a body bag in a hole.
Yo, yeah. So like, yeah, because basically like they cut her open and okay. So I think we're
Yeah, we're moving really fast.
Yeah, we didn't
but-
explain that she's been okay. So she's been
She
cloned.
cloned. Yep.
And
We did mention the clone.
Okay, yeah, and so then she grows into like a full-grown Ripley.
Yep.
And then then they cut her open and she's still got the alien queen embryo in her chest.
Yes.
So they like take it out, and it was really weird because when they cut it out and then like they go and cut the embryo, it was like both the scientists kind of got off. Like they cut it and they just went, oh.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, guys, like take it easy.
Hey,
you know?
we'll reel it back, guys.
Yeah, and so then they take the embryo, and then and then basically Man Bun, as you call him, he was like, well, I mean, can we keep her alive? And the other doctor, the main doctor, he's all like, well, how's she doing? She's doing okay. Yeah, stitch her back up, and then they put her in a bag and throw her in a hole, basically, and she's in like a cell that they can monitor from the top.
We do get a naked Sigourney Weaver in this process, so
Yes,
you
yeah.
guys are into that. Then
Dude, Sigourney Weaver, she got. I think she looks better now than she did when she was younger. Personally, I think she kind of aged like a fine wine. better as a blonde.
So she has a tattoo on herself.
Yes,
And I looked at it and I'm like, oh, she has a tattoo of a number 8 on herself.
Yep.
I honestly almost wrote she has a tattoo of 2 boxes next to each other.
Oh,
But then I was like, yeah, it looks kind of like a number 8 maybe. And then eventually that comes into play later.
yeah.
9 minutes in, Ripley talks doing a picture.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, because they're doing tests on her, making sure she's healthy, and then they're showing her things, and she's essentially like, oh, hand, and the lady's like, close, it was a glove, you know, and then eventually she ends up flashing a picture of a little girl, and it kind of,
I wrote that down too.
yeah, makes Ripley like kind of basically reminisce a little bit.
Cries,
Yeah.
kind of. She tears up. But I almost wrote, Ripley is stupid as shit. But
Yeah.
then they go, she's accelerating faster than the others.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, well, all right.
Yeah, 'cause
never mind then.
Because I'm assuming that it's probably been maybe at least a couple of weeks since they cloned her and she's like been out. So I'm assuming that, you know, over the course of a few weeks, she's learned how to speak and motor functions and all that kind of stuff. She's basically relearning how to be a person.
Yeah.
And they do mention that she is part alien because they're talking to General Perez. And he says something about, well, what good does this do me? And they're all like, well, she's like a new form of evolution. She took on part of the alien or whatever. And it's like part of the genetic processing. Essentially, she's become like a super fast learner because of the alien DNA.
Yeah. We get to see they have a queen xenomorph, which is the
Yes.
one that we saw getting hatched out at 11 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Just the headshot though. Just the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah, it's just a kind of a quick like it scales back and you see how big her like crest is or whatever.
They do mention that the blood samples allowed them to clone Ripley. This is when Ripley is sitting at the table with Man Bun, I believe.
Yeah.
And now here's the thing about this shot. I don't know if you noticed this, but in that shot, did it look as if they used a different camera filming Sigourney Weaver? Because she looks way fuzzy compared to the other 2 guys that look like crystal clear in that shot.
I didn't notice. It might have been maybe that was like
Okay.
one of the cut scenes for the special edition because we did watch the special edition.
I don't know
And
because
so it might-
they're talking to her. like
Yeah.
as if it was just a normal scene. I don't know. It just is
Maybe,
weird.
well, because I'm thinking maybe they cut that whole scene because maybe that was just a bad take, and they were like, "Oh, we can't keep this in the movie." And I mean, it's kind of non-sequential. Like, it doesn't really have any meaning per se, because she's basically just talking to him, and it's like nothing really important. The only important thing. Oh,
No,
are
you go ahead.
Oh,
You
I
go
was gonna say, are you gonna say the quote or whatever? Or
Well, I was gonna mention Waylon.
okay, because I was gonna say,
Go
as
ahead with
far
a
as
different quote if you
oh
want.
yeah, basically she holds up a fork and he goes fork, and she goes fuck, and he goes it's a fork.
I did get that. Part.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I was typing at that point.
I lulled when I saw that. So
Yeah, so Wayland is mentioned for the first time ever
Yes.
in the Alien franchise.
yeah, I wrote that down too. First name. drop.
And then it said that it was bought out by Walmart.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
dude.
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, dude.
Walmart
Yeah.
lasted until the year 20,379.
And it's so funny because the guy, he's like so nonchalant about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, Whale and Yutani, they went under decades ago, way before your time. They were bought out by Walmart, I believe. You know, and it's yeah, it totally makes sense."
And I'm like, are you kidding me? Walmart gets a
Walmart.
name drop in this shit?
I wonder if they sponsored it.
Whatever.
Yeah.
At the table, the guy. Yeah, I wrote this. At the table, the guys look clearer than Ripley in the shot, which is just weird. Anyway, I might have been just seeing things too.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
That-
I did
go-
write down another quote
Go,
on this,
yeah,
but okay, yeah, I just
because
didn't-
I move right into the cruiser.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah, because Ripley, because they're talking to each other about the aliens or whatever, and I just found this quote to be funny because I was hooking on to things with all the alien movies, where in every single alien movie somebody remarks on the alien, including Alien versus Predator and Prometheus and Alien Covenant. And basically they say something about a xenomorph in one way or another. And in this one, we had the doctor, because Ripley says they're all going to die because, you know, it's like you don't know what you're messing with. And then the doctor says, wondrous, remarkable potential once we've tamed them. And it's like, wondrous, that's a new one, because normally they say either marvelous or they say fascinating, I think, are the two main ones that they've been saying, but wondrous is a new one. And then Ripley says, and then I just thought this was funny because Ripley goes, roll over, play dead, heal. You can't teach it tricks. Why not? We're teaching you. And it's like, oh, damn, Ripley's not.
Burn!
Yeah, it's like, Ripley, oh, man, she's probably not going to forget about that.
Ripley will remember that.
Yes,
So then we go on to a cruiser, which
the Betty.
Yeah, there are two pilots that are on the cruiser, and the guy feels up the girl.
Yeah, I put
Like just in flat out, just rubs on her titty
Yep.
there.
I put frisky pilots. I got
Ski pilot, that's
yeah,
a better one.
I
Than
got deep voice and girl.
deep voice smoker. He's a smoker.
Yeah, because we don't ever learn their names. I don't think, like, or at least not for a while. The captain.
I'm gonna let you know, I didn't write a damn name down in this goddamn movie except for Ripley.
Yeah, I was trying to remember some of them because, like, the pilots, the one guy, he's the captain, and they called him like Eldon or Elson or something, but I never wrote it down. I just called him Deep Voice the entire time. And then the girl, I think, was his girlfriend, because at one point we do see them together again.
Maybe.
I mean, yeah, but and her name was like started with an H, but I didn't write it down because we only learn it like
hot ass.
oh yeah, she was looking pretty good in that
So
skin tight suit.
as we get another pan shot, we see Autumn Zone. I can't remember what was written there. It was an arcade machine. I don't know why it was there, but it was there, and so I wrote it down. I called him Black Assassin's Creed because the dude just whips out the two guns out of his arm, and he like launches them out, and I'm like, damn. That dude's like freaking NCO over there.
Yeah, that's
I refer
Christy.
to him. What?
Christy, I think is what they call
I
him.
referred to him as Black Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I was just calling him Dreads the whole time.
Dreads is also less racist than what I was picking.
Right before him, we meet Reese and Call, who are the wheelchair guy and Winona Ryder.
Oh yeah, I guess there is a scene because there's that scene and then it cuts back.
Yeah, because
it cuts back to that scene again.
Yeah, it goes back to him. Yeah,
because then
that's when we meet Ron Perlman's character. Yeah, because the first time the pilot, he's like calling down, or the captain or whatever, he's like, hey, like, Reese, Call, get ready for the ship to dock or whatever, make sure you got all the shit in order. And then it goes down there because he tells the two thumbs joke. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't remember exactly,
dude,
but it was really shitty.
It's one of those lame ass jokes where he's like, what's got two thumbs, a peaked tongue, one eye, and fucks like a god, and then calls like what, and then he does the two thumbs right.
No, he repeats it again.
Yeah,
as
because
if
she says
didn't hear him.
Yeah, he does say it again, and then he winks, sticks his tongue out, and then points to himself with his two thumbs, and she's just like rolls him back under the car or whatever they were fucking working on.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
But when it does cut back, yeah, that's when we see Ron Perlman's character because he's acting like a monkey or whatever.
Yeah, he's like, ooh.
Yeah, and then he throws a knife.
And then I think he just drops it down,
yeah.
and then it lands in the dude's like leg.
Yeah.
Which, as the viewer, you aren't supposed to know that he is in a wheelchair. But as soon as it lands in his leg, I knew immediately that he was, because I was like, oh well, obviously he's not responding to any of this. And then, sure enough, he rolls himself out, and he's like, "You're an asshole." Like, is what and I said, "Yeah." I said, "Hellboy drops a knife on the wheelchair guy."
and this is where I knew that it was Joss Whedon writing it, because they get into an argument and Call yells at him, right? And then
Call is Sigourney Weaver?
Winona Ryder.
That's right. They have kind of the same name.
And then
they do.
Like Winona Ryder, Sigourney Weaver, Ellen Ripley. They just called her Call. But they're getting into an argument, right? And then Ron Perlman goes, "I am not the man with whom to fuck." And it's like, oh, that's totally a Joss Whedon line. That's too good a grammar for that guy. You know he would have said, yeah, he would have said, "I'm not the guy to fuck with." But no, he said, "I'm not the guy with whom to fuck."
Yeah, because he walked away, and it almost seemed like Ron Perlman didn't get his whole lines out.
Yeah.
But then as he walked away, I'm like, I think "fuck" is the last word of that sentence.
Yeah, it was really strange, and I just wrote good grammar. Like that's
grammar.
Really strange line for a meathead like him, like his character. You know.
Okay, so I wrote "power glove search." I can't remember what happened here.
Oh, that was because so first I want to mention that father is the new computer system.
Yes, I wrote that down way later in the movie.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because when they first opened the thing, it goes, "I am father," and I was like, "Father? What? Where's mother? Like, what the fuck?" Like,
she's gone.
Yeah,
she's gone now.
I was so lost. I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess over 200 years they got tired of mother and just switched to father."
Yeah. Well, actually, mother's been around since. She's been around for 300 years. Because Prometheus takes place in 2092.
Oh, yeah. I don't know when they switched to father at some point, you know.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if we were to say from then to then, she was around for, like, 200 plus years.
Because I would assume mother's probably still around. I bet mother's probably for civilian vehicles or citizens.
No, they worked. They were on the working ships.
Oh, you're right. They were on. It was on the Sulaco because they were military.
And Aliens too.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe it was just the military ships that had father, and maybe like civilian ships had mother. But if the Sulaco had mother, which was a military vessel, then yeah, who knows? But then again, Weyland-Yutani was a corporation that hired a bunch of mercenaries. They were mercenaries, so maybe it was the Weyland-Yutanis that had mother.
So what was? Oh wait, you had one more quote before you left.
Well, I was just gonna say the power glove thing was just basically a weapon search. So the guy was.
That's right. He uses a power. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He uses a glove and he like pads over everybody, and it didn't work. I wrote down Keurig for alcohol.
Oh yeah, I thought that was really funny because it's like So the guy, the General Perez, who's played by Dan Hedaya, I think that's how you say his last name, Dan Hedaya, something like that. He was in Night at the Roxbury.
He's very
the father.
hairy.
Oh my god, dude, he's super
He's
hairy.
a bear.
Yeah, man. And he's been in like a few Saturday Night Live skits and stuff, and he's been in a few movies. You'd recognize him. He's been in a couple monster movies. Him and Deep Voice make a deal for some cargo, quote unquote, and we'll find out what that cargo is later. He gets paid in cash, which is really rare these days because cash is hard to come by, I guess. But
it allows it. There are no paper trails.
Exactly. And then so he's like, "Oh, how about a drink?" And he puts this cube into a glass, hits it with a laser, and
it's in this like little thing, and then he opens it up and throws the thing, the cube inside. And yes,
it kind of looked like a Japanese like noodle container or something.
Yeah,
like that,
but I guess
it
was literally a Keurig thing. Like
Yeah.
he takes the glass, he puts it underneath the thing. The thing pushes this liquid onto it, which maybe is water.
Oh, I thought it was a laser that just.
Oh yeah,
melted
it was laser. It was laser. Yeah, and then it just goes, bzzz, bleep, and
Yeah,
then
and
it
then
like
turns into
splashes it,
liquid.
and I'm like, all right, that's
Now,
how that works.
Did you notice too so Perez starts eating a lemon, right?
Yeah, I wrote General eating a lemon.
Now, first of all, he was eating a lemon, which I don't have any problem with
You're
necessarily.
like, number one,
But
he was eating a lemon.
he just kind of randomly started eating a lemon. But the problem that I had with this whole scene was that the lemon was crunchy.
That's true.
Like, did you hear that?
Like he cut it open and it's this solid raw lemon.
Yeah, and he like bit on it, and then all of a sudden it was like,
Yeah, he was chewing
It
on
was
it
like-
for a while.
it's like, why is that lemon crunchy?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm confused.
Because like I don't know if it was a part where it was just like he felt as if he needed something to be doing in this scene, so he just started sucking on a lemon.
Yeah.
and then he ate it.
Yeah.
and I'm like, dude.
And then it just made weird
First
sounds.
off, who the hell has a lemon with whiskey? Don't you usually have
That
an
is-
orange?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That is
whatever.
kind of strange.
Anyway,
Well, I guess if it's a bourbon, it might be because bourbon goes
Yeah,
really
but
good with lemon.
I thought you use an orange to make like an old fashioned.
Oh, well, I'm thinking of like a bourbon smash.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a couple different
But anyway.
a couple different citruses you can use with those, I think.
The videos are in a tube with xenomorph. Oh, I don't know why they say I was typing really fast during a lot of these
yeah,
scenes.
you probably it was
So
probably like
there
people.
are
Yeah, so our crew,
Yes,
the crew
I
or
skipped
the
a
cargo,
thing.
sorry, that we find out is basically people.
yes, the ship is dropping dead bodies off.
Yeah.
I wrote before that I thought they were picking up the dead bodies because I thought they were smuggling them.
Or well, they're
And
just
then I
in
noticed that
stasis.
they were going. Well, we don't know that yet, but yes, they are.
Oh well, they're
did
all
they-
in cryotubes. Yeah, it mentions it. It's
Oh,
like
okay. I didn't
it's all
know
like
I didn't know they mentioned
yeah,
that.
because it goes stasis, blah blah blah, a cargo or person secure, yada yada yada, and it does mention something as they're taking them off the ship.
Yeah, I was just like, I was like typing as a lot of these things are going. I was still shocked by the lemon situation.
Yeah.
So yeah, they get ported in, and then we couple minutes pass by, and we see that they are now put in these tubes of where they are chambered in with an individual xeno egg,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's
And-
about that.
And
That
I
works
just
out, I guess.
okay, now keep this in mind because I'm going to bring this up a little bit later.
Okay.
So we see a total of 8 people.
Okay.
At first, when they're wheeling them in, you only see 4. And then when they're all in the tubes, there's 8 total
Okay.
that we see get face hugged, okay?
Yes.
So just keep that in mind. There's 8 people.
Okay. There's 8 people.
Yes.
The next scene is Ripley has basketball skills 26 minutes in.
Yeah.
And she starts kind of flirting with
Yeah, it's kind of a weird flirt.
with Ron Perlman's character.
Yeah.
I just referred to him as Hellboy the whole time because whatever.
Yeah, I think his name was like Donner or something.
Whatever. And then he tries to like feel her up kind of thing, and then she takes the ball, bounces it between her legs, and shoots him right into the balls.
Yeah.
And it was honestly the funniest thing I've ever seen in an alien movie.
It was pretty funny.
And then I said Black Assassin hits Ripley with the end of a weight.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, she just takes it right to the face and doesn't even flinch.
And then she walks away like a badass and takes the ball and throws it over her head, and it lands into the basket.
And you know what?
I'm like,
Fun-
oh my god.
Fun fact about that, I'm not sure if they did it in one take, but she did that in real life. There's no like CGI or
I'm
cut
sure.
or anything like
I-
that.
I,
but
I believe it.
and then when it cuts to Ron Perlman, when he looks, he starts laughing, and they had to cut his scene because they were like, "Dude, you can't laugh," because he was so astounded by the fact that she made it that he started laughing. And
That had to be the first time.
yeah, because I want to say it was in one take.
And I
She
think-
just did it.
Yeah,
and-
I think because the way she looks as if because she starts to have a shit-eating grin on her face.
Yeah.
And I think she doesn't think it's gonna happen, and she just goes, turns around, takes it, starts walking away, and I don't think that probably wasn't even in the script. She probably just turned around, walked away, smiled, threw it over, and it just went in the basket.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's just like a 1 in a million shot, and she just happened to hit it, and it was like perfect.
But we notice Ripley was bleeding out of her nose.
Yes,
The blood to the floor. Something's happening to that
yeah,
blood.
it has corrosive properties, you would say.
Hmm,
Not quite acidic, but it melts things.
A little bit after that, 28 minutes in, we get an orgasm foot rub.
Oh yeah, and that's when we see the captain and the other pilot.
Yeah, and I was like, man, this is all we're seeing.
yeah, I was kind of sad because that chick was pretty hot and she had pretty nice body.
But who
Like-
cares? She had no any both of them didn't have anything to do with this whole fucking film.
Yeah.
And then while that's happening, while the orgasm foot rub's happening, Ron Perlman,
Yeah.
Black Assassin's Creed, and
Call.
It,
Yeah, because
I'm
everybody's
missing,
doing
what is her name?
Call.
No,
Winona Ryder.
Yes, because I didn't want to see Sigourney Weaver again.
Yeah, because they're all doing something. Because like
they're watching QVC for guns.
Yeah, because like Perez is shining his boots. I wrote them all down just for some reason. And wheelchair guy is finding parts and ammo.
Wheelchair.
But yeah, those because I don't. Reese.
No, the thing was, I started writing wheelchair guy, and then I just referred to him as wheelchair.
And then that's what I did. I was just like, I started getting tired of typing it all, so I just started typing wheelchair.
Man, that's so terrible.
But yeah, as they're watching QVC for guns, they're drinking, and then Call's like, "What'd you put in this battery acid?" And then Ron Perlman's like, "Only for color."
I was like, that's a very Ron Perlman line.
Yeah,
too.
He was probably in my personal opinion, I think he was like the highlight of this movie.
Honestly, I think he had a better character than Sigourney Weaver did.
Well, Ripley's different in this one, and we can talk about it towards the end because I don't want to get too much into her character until we finish talking about the movie.
So they cut to the fact that Man Bun has he goes into a cell block full of xenomorphs.
Yes,
and then he gets really like weird with them.
Yeah,
he starts kissing the glass. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
the
he's kind of being like
here?
It. Like I think it, and this is really funny too because like H.R. Giger, who designed the xenomorphs, like a lot of his art is like
I think we
gothic.
mentioned this in the first episode or the first Alien.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, how his artwork is like gothic and sexualized, right? And very like it's just very like promiscuous. And so I think Joss Whedon was trying to take a note from that a little bit in this movie because there are a couple other scenes that we'll see later that I want to point out that are kind of weird. But this one is one of them where essentially he's like making out with the alien through the glass.
And then it freaks him. It scares him.
Yeah.
And then he's an asshole and then he blasts him with this like snow ray, like snow smoke or whatever.
Liquid nitrogen of some sort or something
I wrote, kissing the glass of the xenomorph, it scares the guy, and then he gasses it.
Yeah.
Tries to attack again, but he puts his hand over the top of it, but it learns.
Yeah, and they learn
Clever
quickly.
guy.
It's very smart.
And then I just started referring to Winona Ryder as WR in my notes. And so Winona Ryder throws boxing gloves. Now, did you notice when she takes the boxing gloves off because she has them and then she spills the drink?
Yeah.
And then Ron Perlman and Black Assassin's Creed yell at her.
Yeah.
And then she takes the boxing gloves and throws it. She hits the camera.
She did, yeah.
And I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? They left that in there?"
And I think she spilt one of the other drinks, but I think she was supposed to spill both of them.
Oh.
And she hits the camera because I think she missed. I think that's what happened.
Well, if you notice, Ron Perlman freaks out the most, but his drink doesn't get spilled.
Well, then that's what I was going to say. Then he hits it off the table, and then the other guy's like, "God damn it, man. Like, why'd you do that?" And he starts freaking out. And it's like, I think Winona Ryder was supposed to hit both of them.
Why did they take that in one shot?
I don't know.
That
might have
weird.
That might have been one of the special edition shots, because I don't remember that being in the original cut.
I've never seen either one, so.
Yeah, I don't recall that scene too well.
But that's 33 minutes into the film. If you want to see that funny movement.
I forgot to mention earlier.
What happened?
Well, I guess it's going to come up here in a second because as she walks away, she goes to break into a cell block, Ripley cell block to be specific. And in order to get into the doors, she uses a spray. But this spray is based on somebody's breath.
What was the? Because they mentioned that's how they use like breath.
So like General Perez when he opens the door earlier,
where you spray. It was like essentially sugar in a bottle, and you sprayed it. It was sour. I know those Airhead.
I know what you're talking about. It might be.
That's what they look like. They look exactly like that. And I'm like, first off, how did you get all of that?
Right.
like where did that happen?
Yeah, because it's General Perez's breath that she ends up using, and earlier in the movie, which is when I forgot to mention it because I did write it down that. It's like, oh, they use breath to open doors. That's weird.
Yeah.
And so it's like your breath can change based on what you eat, based on your health. Like, it's never the same. So how is that an accurate method? And then she ends up spraying like 3 or 4 of them, and it's like, try again, try again. Then she sprays one, and it's like, oh, hello, General Perez. And it's like, how'd you even get his breath scent in a bottle? Like,
well, nevertheless, do you see how big those things are?
oh yeah,
She has a lot of
she has
whatever
like a whole
that needs.
keychain of them.
Yeah, she has a janitor style
Yeah,
breath
dude.
containers.
She takes it. I thought they were keys at first, and then she takes it out and they're clinging around. Then she starts spraying them. I'm like, what the fuck?
So like you mentioned, Winona Ryder walks
Yeah.
in, gets into the thing, sees Ripley, and is about to kill her. She wakes up, says like, "Ooh, what are you doing?" And then Then Ripley decides, "Fuck your knife," and takes the knife and stabs her own hand with
Yeah.
the knife. And so there's just a knife in her hand.
Yeah.
And it's smoking.
Yeah, because she calls like, oh, I can give you one out, like, because she realizes that the queen's been taken out of her, and she's like, oh, I gotta go find it and kill it, but I can kill you, I can give you an out, whatever, if that's what you want. And she's like, what makes you think I would let you do that? As she's stabbing her hand,
Yeah.
you know. And it's like, and then Call does mention to her that it's been 200 years since Ellen Ripley had died, and that she's just a clone. And then
You're not real.
Yeah.
None of this is real.
yeah, because clone Ripley is kind of fucked in the head. Like, she's really
we
strange.
learn more about that later.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, this is before I knew all the other connections, but Ripley is acting a lot like a xenomorph right now.
Yes.
So then she gets caught
Yep.
in there, and then the rest of her crew gets thrown in there because they're like, hey, you should have been keeping track of, or no, in a
They're
different area.
They're in the mess hall again.
Yeah, they're in a mess hall. And they find out that, she snuck around and did her deal.
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, we didn't know. And then, so they're like, put the guns down.
Oh, yeah.
And
This is Dreads because he's, yeah.
Yeah, because he puts his hands up and it shows the guns. And he's like, put the guns down. And he's like, dude, I can't put the guns down. They're like, they're attached to me. He's like,
Yeah.
fuck you, put the guns down. And then he looks up, and then he just shoots, and it ricochets off a light fixture and shoots
Yeah.
the dude behind him in the head. Here's the thing. I watched this movie with Nate. I'm going to give him a shout out here. And he goes, so much for that helmet. And I was like, yeah, what the fuck was that helmet for?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
It makes
what-
no sense. There's a funny part in this too, like right before they start actually firing on each other. So this one guy comes up behind Ron Perlman's character and pushes him in the back with the gun. So he turns around, grabs the gun from him, and goes, "Don't ever fucking touch me!" And then throws the gun back to him.
Yeah, I remember that. That was pretty good.
It's so funny because I was just like, yeah, it was like,
touch me.
yeah, it was like with the speed that you did that, if everybody else would have acted, you guys would have been out of that situation, no problem. But I guess it was for a good, a good laugh or whatever.
That was definitely pretty good.
Yeah,
I forgot about
I
that part.
really enjoyed Ron Perlman's character in this movie.
So then we get cut into the cell again.
Yes.
And we see three xenomorphs.
Yes.
And they're talking to each other like velociraptors for some reason.
Yeah.
And then they just like agree to just kill this one. And
the poor little one, he's all like,
yeah,
he's
like,
freaking out. He's like, "What are you guys doing?"
And then the xenomorph just bleeds right through the thing.
Yep. Now
Here's
keep that in mind. One dead.
Here's my thing. How did they not know it wasn't going to fucking bleed through the cell? They've been studying these things. How did they not comprehend that they should have, I don't know, maybe readjusted themselves so that it didn't bleed through the goddamn cell?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, why don't the scientists have them in single cells? Like, why are there 3 of them in one cell? Because it's not necessarily that they didn't know that they had acidic blood, but I'm assuming they didn't think like, oh, they'll kill their own, which xenomorphs will definitely kill their own if they have to. I mean, we've seen it done in other movies. And
well, it's like, even if you don't even think about it as xenomorphs, hive minds will do that in order to make the better good of the colony.
Right.
Like ants do that.
Yeah.
Termites do that. They will kill their own in order to progress the rest of the colony.
Yeah.
It's like, you should have thought of that, you fucking geniuses.
Well, I mean, Ripley called it. They're all going to die.
So
So one Xeno's dead. So by our calculations, that should be 7 Xenos left.
now I wanted to mention the other gun that was used in that little battle sequence that all the rest of the crew is going in. Ron Perlman in his vodka thing
Oh, that's
is a
right.
gun itself because that's why it went off.
That's right.
And he's
yeah.
like, it's a combination of my own creation or whatever early on. And I was like, because then he just aims with it and it shoots and it blows a
Yeah.
hole out of the back of it. And I'm like, oh my God.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, because he pulls out basically the trigger portion of it, and then as he shoots it, yeah, it's like a shotgun in a mini can kind of thing.
Yeah. Then back in the cell, a guy with a gun goes in to check the cell.
Oh, well, don't forget that the scientist is taken first because he walks in right after that happens, and then they grab him and pull him
Yes,
down the
that's
hole.
right. That's right.
So
why
that's
did I
man
write that?
that's Man Bun Steven Dorff's character, and then the other
I did
guy
write
comes
that
into
down.
the cell like immediately after that.
Yeah, and then then the xenomorph is on the other side
Yeah.
and presses the button and then freezes the guy and then you see his arm get broken off and whatnot.
Yeah, that death was pretty gruesome. Like that dude froze and his skin was falling off and stuff, and he got stuck to the wall and his arm broke. And then I just want to say that it's presumed that the two xenomorphs that broke out went and freed a bunch of the other xenomorphs. Okay, because we hear a bunch of people fighting and shooting xenomorphs and stuff like that.
How?
But that's the thing is we don't know. Like apparently they went and freed them because there's more than just those two running around.
Yes.
So
how many do we have now? We have 7?
based on what we saw,
Okay.
we have 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, see, I don't know where this is going to lead up, so I'm
Yeah.
curious
See,
to hear
dude,
what
oh my
what
God,
happens
dude, I am
here.
so mad about like it.
Okay,
God.
so all of a sudden, Father starts going, evacuation.
Yes.
And everyone's evacuating. Wheelchair Man is nowhere with the group anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, how was he not? I guess he was shining his shoes, but why is he not with the rest of the group? Anyway, maybe that was explained earlier. I just didn't pay attention to that. He gets face to face with xenomorphs, and he starts shooting them, and acid blood starts falling down because he's shooting them in a grate,
Yeah.
and the acid blood is falling down.
And
It
he-
burns his legs, and
and
he's
the
like,
coolest part.
and then he takes his finger, and he's like, and then one drips on his ear, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's gonna die. By the way, spoiler alert, because we're spoiling the whole movie, so fuck that. He survives this. How come we never see those burn marks ever again?
Oh, I think one was behind his ear, and then the other one was on his pant leg.
In his leg,
So-
it went through his leg. Though.
Yeah.
and then one
So-
was on his fingers.
Yeah, and then he had the like when he touched it, but I don't know if after a little while it just stops being corrosive. After a while it wears out because in the first Alien we see it cuts through maybe 3 or 4 levels and it stops. And then later on in the movie we will see another person get burned, but it doesn't burn completely through them. And then also but in previous entries, we've seen the alien or the blood just like eat through people. So I'm not really sure. It didn't look like it was purely blood. It looked kind of like it was thinner than normal acid blood, but it might have just been different because it's a more modern movie. But yeah, I'm not sure. They never really mention it again.
So everyone's evacuating.
Oh,
and,
sorry.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you out.
No,
I just
no.
want to mention that.
I'd rather you cut me off before I continue down the path.
Okay,
so.
yeah. I just want to mention it was really cool too when because when he's getting checked for weapons when they initially come in, he scans them and he's like, "You want to check the chair?" And then the guy's just like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Yeah.
And then when he's underneath this grate, when the alien's walking above him, he basically takes all these pieces off his chair and assembles a fucking shotgun.
By the way, not hidden at all.
Yeah, it was
They're
like they were
out-
clearly out
yeah,
in the open.
You could notice that they were gun
Yeah,
parts.
especially the trigger part because
Yeah,
it's so
like,
clearly visible.
Dude, no,
And-
because it's like right on his side.
Yeah.
It's like,
He's just
and
taking
one of the
pieces off.
pieces is right on the side that the guy was standing
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh
So
my
he
God.
and I think that's why he thought it was funny because when he says it, he's kind of got a smirk on his face, and then the guy's like, "Get out of here," and he's like, "I told you to check the chair,"
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
probably what he's thinking. But he puts this gun together, and fucking when he gets burned on the ear, he turns around and he's just like, "I'll put holes in you, motherfucker!" And he just starts blowing this alien away, and I think he kills that one. If I'm
Now
not
here's
mistaken.
the other deal: is that 2 different xenomorphs?
Oh no, it was the same xenomorph.
So he
beca-
blasted one, it bled, and then didn't do anything,
it-
and then he shoots it again.
Yeah, because I think it was crawling above him trying to get away, and that's why he had to turn around to start shooting it again. Because I don't
so
think
he shot it, and then it was trying to run away, and then
Yeah.
he shot it again.
Yeah, because all that kind of it seems like it happens really slow, but I think it's supposed to be happening like all in real time, you know.
Okay.
So it's like it bled on him, and then we see his reaction as the alien's supposed to be running over him. Then he turns around, shoots the alien, and I think he ends up killing that one, if I'm not mistaken.
So now we're down to 6.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Evacuation's happening, and everyone's getting in escape pods and leaving.
Yes.
One escape pod, the last one, more specifically,
yeah, dude.
gets utterly just trampled into by another xenomorph.
Yeah, I love how it crawls up the side, just jumps in.
So the general takes a wait. Let's see.
It was,
Oh, okay. Nope. Okay, I see what that is. He takes a grenade, he rolls it into
Yes.
the thing, goes in, launches the escape pod. The escape pod gets launched out, and then explodes in space. And I was like, "That's kind of cool, seeing a grenade explode in
Yeah.
space." So that
that's
happens.
3 Xenos down.
Okay, so now we're at 5.
5 Xenos.
Okay.
Yes.
Then the general gets mini-mouthed, and then he
Yeah,
pulls
dude.
behind his head and pulls out a piece of his brain.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's metal.
Yeah, dude, and that's so funny because the first time I saw this movie, I was like, dude, like I was not expecting that because usually when they get eaten or whatever or brained or whatever, they don't really react like that. Like, but maybe it was because it was in the back of his
Well, it
skull.
didn't go through, so he's technically still alive.
Yeah.
So his brain's still conscious, so he like felt it, and then he looked at
Yeah,
it.
it reminds me of like a scene from Hannibal. You know. It's-
Here's another thing that happened though. Why is the pilot by himself? I never found out why that happened. Why did he get separated from the rest of the group?
I can tell you exactly what happened. So, okay, so the crew is running through the corridors trying to get back to the Betty, and wheelchair's still off wherever he's at.
Okay.
The Captain Deep Voice is running, and as they're running, he hears something down a hallway. He stops for a second and then looks and notices that there's another gun laying on the floor because he's already got 2 guns.
Yeah. No, I get that part. I have that. So he sees that, and then the rest of the group goes on.
Yeah,
without him?
the rest of the group's still
Okay,
running because
that's what happened. Because I was like,
yeah.
dude, did I miss
Because
something entirely?
Yeah, because he was the last one in line, and even one of the guys is like, "Come on, like Ellison or whatever the fuck your name is." And
Yeah, that's exactly the lines they say.
Yeah, and
whatever
he's-
the fuck your name is, come on,
yeah,
let's go.
and he even replies, he's like, "Yeah." As he's stopping, he sees the gun.
Yep.
He walks down the hallway, picks up the gun, puts it over his shoulder, and then is like, "Oh, hey, look!" And then he walks again,
Another
and then there's
pistol.
another gun, and
Yeah.
it's pistol covered in fucking drool.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, what happens to him? Well, he stands on a grate and he gets fucking pulled down through the grate because you see the alien's fingers fucking come up through the thing. Oh, there is first a jump scare with the pipe that does like burst and
yeah,
it's all
there
like
is a jump scare,
you know. But yeah, he basically just goes. He's just being greedy and he's just trying to pick up some weapons.
Yeah.
And he ends up getting killed for it.
Yeah, and the crew finds a xenomorph for the first time ever. Ripley then appears
This
with
part's
the rest
so
of the group,
cool.
and it's a xenomorph. Is it looking at Winona Ryder?
Yeah.
Or
So
is it okay? And
so-
then all of a sudden, yeah, go ahead, I guess.
oh well, yeah, because basically it's looking at her and then it's like gonna go. I think it's like walking towards her and then it hears something.
Oh yeah, because I was wondering. I was like, it looks down the tube, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks down in the grate, and then all of a sudden, it just gets blasted through the hole
Yes.
that the xenomorph caused when when the xenomorph bursted.
Yeah, it's in the
the-
dude's chest.
Yeah,
Like there's a hole through the
Deep
guy's
Voice
chest.
Pilot.
Yeah, and she puts the gun through the hole.
That was pretty cool.
Blasts the xenomorph in the face and blows its head off, and then that's the 4th xenomorph kill.
So now we are down to 4.
Yes. Now
There were 8
and
that began.
and-
Are we counting those right? There were
it's-
8 that started.
Yeah,
Okay, yes,
yeah,
okay,
because it was
'cause it was last time.
eight passengers. Now here's where I start having a problem because the crew encounters the xenomorph. Ripley kills the xenomorph, joins the group, and then they ask the doctor, the main doctor, because they're holding him hostage
I did
along
write
with the
this down.
military guy. How many more are there left? Oh, there's 12. What the fuck?
Yeah, I
12?
wrote that. Yeah.
When did you guys start breeding them before that? Because I remember seeing 8 people, and they're the only people that you brought on the ship. So how is there 12 left? Because assuming this guy doesn't realize that the other 3 that have been killed, technically speaking, that one, so there should have been 11, or, well, then I guess him saying 12 left, then there would have been in total 13. So where the fuck were the other 5?
Yeah. I mean, they could have. Well, because the thing is like you can easily say like, oh, they had eggs because the queen could lay eggs, but the thing is you need bodies
Right.
in order to make the xenomorphs.
And this is the only cargo that the quote unquote cargo
Did
that
they say
brought.
that? Did they say this is the first cargo?
Yeah, because
Okay.
the one guy was like, "Where's the cargo?" And he's like, "Oh, the cargo will be here shortly." When they're looking at the alien queen the first time,
Yeah.
and he's like, "It'll be here shortly, and she'll start laying eggs soon because she hadn't even laid eggs yet."
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because
Yeah,
I
so-
wrote that down. 12 more
Yeah, it
xenomorphs
makes
on the ship.
absolutely no sense because there should be only 4.
And then Ripley says, by far, the worst
Oh right,
fucking line I have ever heard Sigourney Weaver ever
So
say.
this is just continuing to ruin her character from
ever
the previous
say
movie.
this fucking movie. Oh my god. Who do I have to fuck to get off this boat?
And then
And
Ron
I'm like-
Perlman responds. He goes, "Oh, I could get you off. Well, maybe not the boat, but." So at least he redeems it, but but I totally agree with you, dude. It was kind of an abrupt, weird
Yeah,
line.
because it's literally like right after they are like doing this serious moment of how many of these fucking things are there?
Yeah.
And then he's like 12. There are 12 more. And then all of a sudden Sigourney Weaver goes, well, and then the camera's now on her, and she turns around and goes, who do I have to fuck to get off this
Yeah,
boat?
and she puts
I'm
her
like,
hand on her hip,
and
like,
I'm like, what are you doing?
yeah.
What are you doing, man? Because now not only am I mad at the character, I'm mad at Sigourney Weaver. I'm mad at fucking Joss Whedon. Because there are 2 people that this line went through,
Yeah.
and they didn't do a goddamn
Oh
thing
man,
about it.
it was the '90s, dude. That was a different time, huh?
Who do I have to fuck
Just
to
to
get
think,
off
this was
boat?
over 20 years ago, dude, when this movie came out.
So anyway, we get more confirmation that Winona Ryder doesn't trust Ripley.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, wheelchair guy shows up.
Oh wait,
I don't know when that happens.
I just want to mention one part real quick. Oh wait, I wrote down a lot of quotes here. Okay, so
Go ahead, list them off. I have to do something.
Oh, okay, yeah. So right before they leave, so they group up or whatever, and then Winona Ryder's standing there, and Ripley rips the tongue out of one of the xenomorphs and then hands it to Winona Ryder, and it's like, "Oh, it'll make a great souvenir." And then she's like, "Ugh, like get this fucking thing away from me." But then as they're walking, they hear something about the ship is on its way. Oh, that's right. They talking to the doctor and the other military guy that they're holding hostage. And they're saying that because there's an emergency evac, the ship is on its way back to its home base, which is Earth, and it's going to take roughly about 3 hours to get there.
Oh, wheelchair guy shows up before the Earth thing says.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I must have missed writing that down.
Yeah, because wheelchair guy
I
is
did miss it,
still
yeah.
alive, and then ship autopilots back to Earth,
Oh, that's
home
right,
base, which
yeah.
is Earth.
Because they get scared as they're walking down the
And
hallway,
then,
pops up in the elevator.
Ron Perlman goes,
Yeah.
Earth, man, what a shithole.
yeah, because he's like, oh, I don't want to go to fucking Earth. And then as they're walking, he's talking to Sigourney Weaver, and he says, hey, so I heard you ran into these things before. So, like, what'd you do? And she's like, I died.
No, she replies to that before. Those are 2 different things.
Well, yeah, I kind of cut
okay,
it. Yeah, because she's like,
paraphrased it. That's okay.
yeah, because she was just like, I did. And then he's like, well, so what'd you do? And she's like, I died. It's like,
And then
damn.
walks away with a smile, and he's like,
yeah.
oh, God.
Yeah.
Ripley oh yeah, so she
yeah.
goes into a room and sees all the test tube babies
Oh, my God.
that are
dude.
all sorts of fucked up and
Yes.
gnarly. And
So this is where we find the first 7 clones, basically.
did you count 7?
I believe there are 7. I think
So
there's
there's
six
There's like
that are
the
dead.
weird short one.
Yeah, there's the little baby.
There's the eye on the back one.
Yep. There's the one with the mouth on its face. There's the one.
There's the one that's really close to
Yeah.
in the tube.
Yeah, there's the xenomorph.
Now my
one.
question is the one that we see on the bed. That says,
I think that's
kill me.
I think that's number 7.
Now, is that where that line originated from?
What line?
The kill me, like that thing
For-
from
for-
it being like a clone. Like, is that where the
Oh,
joke originated from?
it maybe.
I don't know. I'm actually asking.
I'm
So
not, yeah, because
I'm
I'm not sure. It might be because I know they'd make fun of that a lot in like a lot of movies and
yeah.
stuff,
Whenever there's like a fucked up clone, they
or in
always say
cartoons.
like
Like South Park has done it a couple
yeah,
times.
because whenever there's like a messed up clone, they will
Yeah.
always go like kill me.
It might be. Who knows? I've never
Uh,
actually thought about it, but
I wrote human xenomorph because that's the one with like that's in the test tube.
yeah.
59 minutes in, you see Tetez and
Oh yeah,
the
so that's number
kill
7.
me.
She's like naked on a table and
And
her
then
arms
you-
and legs are all fucked up.
and then you see armpit hair, which I'm not really
That was
into,
weird, yeah.
And I'm like,
They really made it like realistic, like
yeah.
because as Sigourney Weaver's character's looking at her, she like covers her up with like a blanket
She
real
only
quick,
covers,
but it's just
like,
like
the
basic,
vagina
yeah,
part.
just basically her crotch,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh okay, well I guess that's cool, and then she
guess that's cool.
and then Winona Ryder walks in with a gun, and then she fucking torches.
yeah.
the
I wrote
place.
Ripley lights that bitch up.
Yeah, dude. And then Ron Perlman has another great quote here. So he's leaning on the door, watching everything burn. He goes, "What's the big deal, man? Fucking waste of ammo. Must be a chick thing." it's so fucking funny, dude.
But before that happens, Winona Ryder punches the doctor guy. I refer to him as a doctor, and then I refer to him as a soldier guy. It's the dude that like.
Yeah, he's like the head scientist.
Okay,
basically.
so he is a doctor. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we get introduced into the room where the people were, where all the
right.
chestburster stuff is.
Yes.
And they meet a dude with glasses.
Yeah.
I didn't give this dude a
Oh,
name.
so I guess technically there should be only 3 xenomorphs because of what we find out here.
Yeah, so one of them is still not hatched out of this dude.
Yeah.
And then Ripley flat out says,
Oh my
there's
God.
a monster in your chest. And I was like, damn, that's a
Dude,
spooky-ass line.
It's such a cold thing because basically he's
Well, and then he says, who are you? And then Ripley goes, I'm the monster's mother. And I'm
Yeah.
like, damn.
yeah, because when they first find him, he's like hysterical and he doesn't know what the hell's going on because he thought he was going somewhere else. And
and they start talking. He's
yeah,
like, what's inside me?
Yeah, because one person's like, he's got one inside him, and then they're all like talking about what they're gonna do with him, and he's like, what's inside me? What's inside me? And then eventually he's like, what's that fucking inside me? And he freaks out, and then she says the whole like, there's a monster in your chest, and soon in a few hours it's gonna burst through your rib cage, and you're gonna die. And then he's just like, oh, like freaking out.
Yeah, that sucks to be him.
Yeah, dude. Like what a fucking cold. And so I started calling him Twitchy because Dreads, he's basically like, don't you get twitchy on me, because they're gonna take him with him. To try to save him, and they're basically going to put him on ice before they get back to Earth because they can surgically remove it at this point, because now they're able to do that, I guess. And so yeah, and so they call him Twitchy, or he says like, don't get twitchy on me, so that's why I start calling him from then on.
So Ripley referred to herself as the mother of the xenomorphs, and they start going, and they're like, all right, we need to go this way.
Yeah.
So they start going in the water.
Yeah, they're in like the
and-
cooling tanks, I guess, or something.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, you're going to – so yeah, Assassin's Creed has to wear wheelchair as a backpack. He has to full on Yoda that
yeah,
dude.
yeah, because he can't get down there with his chair.
And I wrote, here's the swimming level.
Yep.
And then I wrote, they spend a long ass time
Yeah,
underwater.
dude.
And I'm like, dude, they are under there for I think like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
If you timed it. I almost did, because after a while I was like, so I always held my breath to see how long, if it's
yeah.
logistically able for them to do that. And I was like, dude, I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I would
They-
totally die.
Because they say before they go under the water that they've got to cut through the kitchen, which is 90 feet to like a freight elevator to get to a certain part of the ship where they can access the Betty. So the one guy's like, "Are you sure?" And then the scientist's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." So as they're
What an asshole.
yeah, so as they're swimming through the water, it's like it feels like it's more than 90 feet, and they're under the water for they're under the water for a long time because as they're swimming and stuff, we see that there's 2 Xenos following them.
Yep. Underwater
So-
xenomorphs an hour and 11 minutes in.
Yes, and so and then Ron Perlman ends up seeing one because I noted that the pilot chick was the last one in line because she takes a second to go swimming because she's just like, but she's missing her captain pilot guy and she's all
fuck boy.
sad. Yeah, and so she dives under like a couple minutes after everybody else. So she's trailing behind with 2 big guns on her shoulders, like fucking taking her time swimming. And it's like, why are you going so fucking slow? Like, everybody's swimming super fast and you're just kind of trailing behind. So Ron Perlman notices that there's a Xeno behind her and fucking shoots a grenade. One moves out of the way and the other one gets blown up. So that's 6 Xenos down, like, I think in total, because the one hasn't burst through that guy's chest yet. So there should be only 2 Xenomorphs left.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, but apparently there's more than
10
there's
more.
like 10 more, yeah, which makes no fucking sense.
But yeah, I wrote Xenomorph gets hot girl.
Yeah, and it was sad too because the way she,
sad
the way
too.
she dies because she's almost there and then it just grabs her by the foot and pulls her as she's screaming.
Yeah,
and then she goes fading into the darkness as Ripley's just kind of watching her float
Ripley
in
watches
the water.
this happen. I'm like,
Yeah.
what an asshole.
And I think that's the Xenomorph in her taking over because she's watching the Xenomorph kill her, but she doesn't try to save her, but she doesn't really like react in any way, shape, or sort.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
So they try to swim up, but it turns out there's this tapestry thing over the top of it, clearly indicating there's a nest right above them.
Yeah, which is weird because how did the eggs get there?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That part also confused me because it's not like the queen. So the queen was apparently laying eggs, and the Xenos just got eggs, put them over there, and we're like, oh yeah, they're surely gonna come this way.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
And then as soon as they bust open the netting area, a facehugger immediately jumps on Ripley. By the way, has no effect on her.
Yeah.
And I was like, what was. What? It's happening
I'm kind
in
of
this
confused
moment
by this
right
too.
now.
I'm wondering if the facehugger after it jumped on her, because you noticed how it loosened up when she was under the water, right? Like, because she went back under the water and she was struggling with it, and the tail came off. So I'm wondering if the facehugger could sense that she was part Xeno. That's my assumption. I'm just assuming that's what it is.
Ron Perlman then decides to do exactly what Assassin's Creed did earlier and uses the ricochet.
Oh right, yeah.
Wait, did Ron Perlman do this, or did he do it again?
It might have been him again. I can't.
And
I
he
can't
uses
remember.
the ricochet of the reflection off of the lighting, and it bounces off and it blows up the eggs. And I'm like,
it was him
I call
again, yeah.
bullshit on this one.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that those things wouldn't explode up on those rafters.
Yeah, because they hit at just the right angle to bounce back into. One bounced into an egg, and another one bounced to the opposite side of the room, and it blew up all the eggs.
Yeah, not cool. So then they start climbing this shaft thing.
Yep.
There's still a xenomorph coming after him down in the water. God damn it, Sigourney Weaver's still down in the water.
Yes.
And then they start climbing, and I guess Sigourney Weaver had somehow loosened the thing and then got ahead of Wheelchair Guy in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I guess she. Well, no, I think she loosened it up and ended up getting up right after, because it was the doctor first, then it was Call, and then it was Ripley. So I think Ripley got the thing.
Yeah, and then
Ron
Perlman's behind him, and then it's Assassin's Creed and
Wheelchair Guy. Yeah,
and so they're climbing and whatnot, and then the doctor says, "Give me your gun," and Winona Ryder hands the gun over, and then he's like, "You trust too easily," or whatever. And
you are far too trusting.
Yeah, and then shoots
another
her.
Joss Whedon line.
And I'm like, dude, what an asshole.
Yeah, because he feigns like he can't break the glass to the door, and he's like, the glass won't break. Give me your weapon. And then Call's like, okay, and just fucking hands their hostage a gun.
Yeah.
So
and then the xenomorph just full on Shamu jumps out of that water, and then does something that we have never seen ever.
So this is a new trick.
A new trick in the whole franchise.
Yep.
In every single movie we've seen, we have never seen a xenomorph do this, and just Cobra spits acid at this at the dude and just starts burning and melting his face
It lands
off.
on the Dredd's Black Assassin Creed guy. It
And
lands half on his face.
Man, come on.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like,
come on.
Like, I don't understand. I
don't understand why.
Yeah, I forgot that part happened, and this is another example of where the acid doesn't completely burn through his face.
Also, really shitty CGI.
Oh yeah,
when this happens,
yeah,
it almost looks like. God, it doesn't even look like it's the same movie. It's just so badly done.
Now here's the part. Now this is probably my biggest complaint about the movie. So this whole scene, the alien jumps up and grabs his foot, right?
Yep.
Because after he gets his face burned, he slips, and wheelchair guy grabs the ladder, and he's holding on with both his hands, can't
Yep.
use his legs. Acid dude. So now Acid Dread. Well, I just want for clarity's sake. I'm sure nobody realizes this, but hey, PT Nation, he's a paraplegic. So, or
I mean, they've very much insinuated that the whole movie, but sure.
So he's holding on with his legs, right? Holding on for dear life because now Dreads is half burnt on his face, and the alien's holding on to his leg, and he's trying to shoot, or the wheelchair guy was trying to shoot, but his gun was jammed, and the other guy doesn't have a gun because he's like half burnt and kind of weirded out or whatever. Anyway, Ron Perlman bends down and does this cool backwards hanging off the ladder shoot scene. Misses every fucking shot until the very last shot where he hits the alien in the square in the forehead and blows him up. So now there should technically be only one xenomorph left, but apparently there's 9. But anyway, that's besides the point. So now here's the part that I'm pissed off about. So Dreads he realizes like, hey, this thing's like falling, or it's holding on to me. I'm hanging on to this dude. This guy's not going to be able to hang on. So I'm going to cut myself loose and fall into the water. So he does, but is he dead? Like, because I'm so confused by this, because he's just got his face burned.
Yeah, and clearly he's conscious enough to know. So the thing is what should have probably happened was then he could have cut himself off, landed in the water,
and then crawled
came
back
up.
But everybody screams like, "Well, Dreads, where you now?"
And the thing is,
and he sinks into the water.
And the other thing is, they're only like 6 feet in the air.
Yeah,
like they're not very high up right now.
No, they're like maybe 1 story.
Yeah,
like at most.
And he's going into water, so he's not gonna get any hurt from this.
Yeah,
no,
so he falls into the water, and apparently he's dead, which makes no sense to me. And then and then immediately after this, so everybody's like, "Oh my God, Dreads is dead!" And then the door opens up.
Well, before that, Hellboy, Ron Perlman leans back up after he kills the xenomorph, and then he gets scared by a spider and then shoots it.
Oh, I forgot about
and
that.
I was like,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's right. I totally forgot about
that. Yeah, and then I wrote BA unbuckles Black Assassin unbuckles himself from wheelchair and drops.
Yeah.
And then Winona Ryder. Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So then the door opens up, and Winona Ryder's character's standing there, right? And we'll find out why in a minute. But
for some reason, an alarm is going off after this too, and I was like, why is the alarm going off when she's opening the door, but where the fuck did the doctor guy go?
He ran off somewhere, but this
he opened the door.
Well, he opens the door later, like a different door. He's gone. Like
no.
Oh, well, he opens the door, runs off, and shuts the door and locks it.
Why? But why did it not? Why did the alarm not go off when he opened it?
Oh, because I think he's the one who set off whatever it was.
Okay.
Like I'm not sure. I didn't even notice the alarm.
Yeah,
to be honest.
The alarm starts going off because it's supposed to build suspense of like, oh, who's gonna be behind the door?
Oh.
And then behind the door is Winona Ryder, and you're like,
I'm not sure. Yeah, because this is the other part that I have a gripe with. How the fuck did she get there? Because she fell in the water when she got shot.
Yes.
So where did she swim to get up to that next level that they couldn't have gone in the first place?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's like if she found another path, why didn't they just go that way to begin with?
Because it was the only path said by Doctor.
So I guess I can only assume the doctor was leading them into a trap, and he had to have known that the eggs were there.
Probably.
But
what an asshole.
But even then, when they got to that part, the doctor didn't realize that they were there because he was trying to get to the thing or whatever.
But as soon as that happens,
this whole scene makes no fucking sense.
Then we see Milk Blood an hour and 20 minutes into this. And then I was
it
really
turns
weirded
out that
out.
Winona Ryder's an android.
Yeah, what I was really weirded out was why did Ripley finger her holes?
Yeah, I guess just to see the Milk Blood.
I'm like, what in the fuck is wrong with you? You know what this thing is.
And then also too, I want to just mention, so the guy who's playing the soldier that's tagging along with them now.
I wrote another quote down.
So, because
we totally forgot to add that there's this random soldier following them.
Because he's like one of the last survivors. I think his name was like DeSoto or DeSantos or something like that. He plays a character in Breaking Bad in like the end of season 1. I think he plays like Tito or something like that.
Tito
Or
That's
Tyrone
never, that's
or
Tyrone.
Tuco. It was Tuco. Tuco.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Whatever.
Tuco. He plays Tuco. But it was funny because when they're talking about Winona Ryder being an android, they discover that she's a second generation android. And the guy freaks out and he's like, "You're an Auton! A robot built by robots! Whoa, I never thought I'd see one in real life." And it's like, dude, calm the
Yeah,
fuck
dude.
down.
Any more excitement?
Like-
You knew he pulled a stiffy on that one.
Yeah, like
Speaking
it
of
was
a
weird.
stiffy, Ron Perlman then says
Oh,
something
yeah.
on this one too.
Yeah.
He oh god, I accidentally backed out. Okay, here we go. Can't believe I almost fucked you.
Yeah.
He goes, and then the random glasses guy goes, "You yeah, like you never fucked a robot or so." Or no, wheelchair says that.
Yeah.
Wheelchair says that. And I'm like, dude, that was pretty good. Sick burn. And then and then I wrote down Xenomorph still hasn't popped out of this guy yet.
Oh yeah, because basically, Sigourney. So after they find
Is
out,
it a stillborn?
So-
I'm waiting for you.
after they find out Call is an android, they basically patch her into the system so they can unlock a bunch of doors, get the ship started, blah blah blah. And then so Twitchy is trying to open a door with a couple of the other guys, and then he starts feeling it, but it still hasn't
He's
burst.
feeling it.
Yeah, like it still hasn't burst out of his chest, which is kind of odd. Like it's like a late bloomer xenomorph.
But
like it's the runt of
remember-
the group
Remember, he was infected
at the same time.
at the same time as the others, and has not only he's maybe been traveling with these guys for like the last like hour and a half.
Yeah,
Come on now.
yeah.
Come on now.
It's really strange that it hasn't broken out of him yet. But
then Ripley and Winona Ryder have a moment. And
yeah,
whatnot.
existential talk about dreams and memories.
And she can't remember Newt's name. I'm like, what
Yeah, which
an
is kinda
asshole
sad.
Mother.
Yeah, because Ripley's got some memories of her past life, but she doesn't remember.
She can remember
a lot.
girl. She cannot remember Newt.
Yeah.
What does it say?
So.
Oh yeah. So no matter how bad the dream is, I wake up and it's worse. That's
Yeah.
a quote from Ripley. That's when they're walking away.
Yeah.
And then oh yeah.
So
So,
we're co-
Hellboy says this, or Ron Perlman says this to Winona Ryder. He goes, "Kill you? Does that not compute, or do
Oh,
I have
yeah.
to draw you a schematic?"
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I forget why they were arguing, but essentially, yeah, he was getting pissed off at her character.
He said another line before that too, and I thought it was really good, but it was so long I couldn't write it down. But
Yeah, I was gonna write
he was
all those
going
down, but
off
yeah.
on multiple Android jokes, and I thought they were hilarious. So
Yeah.
I snagged one of them. Ripley. Oh yeah, so
yeah,
Ripley's walking with the rest of the crew as they're running or doing whatever.
they're just trying to get away at this
And
point.
then she falls. No, she jumps down.
Well, no. So at first she stops and starts like leaning over the grate, all weird. She's like, "I can hear them. I feel them near us."
yeah,
and she starts
the
freaking
queen
out.
near us.
Yeah, and then the grate opens and she just kind of drops down like into it.
Yeah. And then when Ryder walks over and looks down in the
Yeah.
pit, and then there's this weird.
I basically put they have a weird alien orgy because there's a bunch of
I wrote Ripley lands in a xenomorph ball pit.
yeah, because I guess now when you look in this pit, you can see a bunch of tails.
Yeah, but
And
then some of them, it's just like a black mass. It's
Right.
not all xenomorph down.
Yeah, it's really strange. It's like she kind of gets sucked
know.
into this weird like vaginal opening, like for lack of a better description. Because essentially she's laying there. There's a couple
It's devil
xenomorphs.
snare.
Yeah, and they're like kind of twitching and dancing around her, and she's all like, "Oh, you
Yeah,
know?
she's having this
and then-
very like
yeah."
euphoric like.
Yeah, like she's
moment.
connecting with them, I guess. And then she
Yeah.
sinks down into this like hole, and then it cuts to her
Where
like
is she going?
she's like, yeah, because then it cuts away from her real quick, and then the Twitchy comes up to Winona Ryder and is like, "We gotta go. We just gotta hope that it's a quick death." And then they run off, and then
They're like, "Fuck her, we gotta go."
yeah, basically. And then it cuts back to Ripley, and she's like hugging a xenomorph,
Yeah,
like
Xenomorph
caressing
is
it.
carrying Ripley.
Yeah.
and she's totally cool with it.
Yeah, and she's all like hugging it and like caressing it, and it's like basically like at the very first time I saw this movie, I thought they were fucking. Like,
Oh, really? Okay.
it looked like they were basically having sex because of the way the alien's holding her
Yeah.
and like I think it's
Oh, you thought she was like full on
yeah, because
pumping right
because
into her.
because the way the alien's walking, these aliens have like the like
That's
T-Rex
another
feet,
thing. That's
which
another
is
thing.
different.
Their hands were different too.
Yeah, they had
were
like
more
the weird
aquatic.
Yeah, they had the weird long middle fingers.
Yeah, they were
and, like,
webbed
fins
as
and,
opposed
yeah.
to like the original xenomorphs are just fingers.
Yeah, and then they have weird bipedal feet like T-Rex feet instead of like the normal human style feet like they typically do, and or like human style legs, I mean. And then yeah, and so when the way it walks and it shuffles back and forth, I thought they were humping.
See, I thought that for a split second, but then I noticed in the background that the scenery was moving.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, they're just walking.
Yeah, it
But
took me a
she's
couple times to
carrying-
notice that.
But it was just weird that he's carrying her.
Yeah.
What is she doing? Being dragged onto the floor? Sigourney Weaver's like 6 foot.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
it's a really strange scene. It's
The main
ugh.
ship is almost to Earth.
Yes.
The doctor. Ooh, whoops, that's a little too much.
Oh.
So yeah, they're on the cruiser ship.
Yeah, they get to the Betty.
Yeah, and everybody except Ripley is on that ship.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden, they're like, "Oh yeah, go close the thing." And so they start walking. And then all of a sudden, they see the doctor is there now,
Yes.
and he's like, "Don't you fucking move! I'll blow her head off.
He's holding.
I'll blow this
Winona
calculator's
Ryder.
head off," or whatever he says.
Yeah, he's holding her hostage.
Yeah, and then which, by the way, how does he know that she's robotic?
Well, I
He
think.
wasn't with her.
Yeah, I'm assuming just for the fact that she's alive again, that he knows that she's a synth because at one point. Oh no, I know what it was. Is when she
He
was
shot you
it-
point blank. I saw it.
What
That's
it-
what Ripley said.
what it was when she was tapped into the computer, he was trying to get to the Betty, and he goes
That's
to
right.
open a door, and then she stops him, and she's all like, "Father's dead, asshole," and then shuts the door, and then she's like, "All aliens report to level 1. Dr. Wren on level 1. All aliens report to level 1."
But
And
my
then he
thing
runs
is,
away
like,
real
you
quick.
don't know that she's a droid. She could be at a control panel. That's
Well,
my thing.
I
don't know.
I think well, okay, and so I think
I'm pulling a lot of hair here, but you know.
well,
whatever it
actually,
is.
now I think that's why the siren was going off, because I think when the doctor escapes after he shoots Call the first time, I think he does something to set off the alarm and starts an override system, because then the siren's going off, I guess, when she comes back. So I think it's his fault, and that's why they can't access anything. That's why they have to patch her in manually, because they can't open the doors.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, then the infected guy starts going into
Dude,
convulsions.
yeah.
And I'm like, oh god.
This part's cool.
It is
dude.
very cool. Yeah. So he starts going into convulsions, and then he stands up, gets like 5 shots
Yeah.
pumped into him from the dude, and then he like punches him and hits him, slams him on shit. Like the glasses start slamming the doctor and whatnot, and then he picks him up by the head, and the chest burster bursts out and just goes right through the dude's head, and then the rest of the crew just open fires
Yeah,
on it.
dude,
So I'm
so
like, oh
cool.
my god, what's happening?
That's
right
probably
now?
one of the coolest deaths in all of these
That's-
movies.
Yeah, if I was to go down, I'd probably do that. He starts to beat the shit out of the guy. The dude he grabs
And
the
then they
dude,
just
and the
get
chest
shot
burster
to
gets to the head.
pieces.
And then an hour and 35 minutes in, we get to see the queen's nest.
Yeah.
Now, here's what was weird about this. Why is the queen on her back?
Okay, so the scientist explains this as they get to the scene. Okay,
Okay.
so Man Bun,
Yep.
who got taken at the very beginning of the film,
He's
when the
down
aliens
there
escape.
for some reason.
Yes. So this is essentially, so the aliens, when they take people, they use them for nesting and breeding purposes. So they stick them to the walls, as we've seen, and so they did the same thing with a few of the people that they had caught. Some of the scientists. He's awake. So at this point in time, typically they would have been face hugged, but because of the genetic manipulation that they've done with Ripley and the Queen, he's talking about, oh, it's a second cycle birth. So what Ripley has given to the Queen as her quote unquote gift is a human reproductive system. So the Queen is on her
So
back.
why the fuck are the eggs around?
So the very first, that's why he's saying it's a second cycle. So at first she lays her eggs, and then after she laid a finite amount of eggs, I guess, then she started incubating an actual baby inside of her, like ovipositor or whatever.
What?
So yeah, so she's
What?
yeah, it's really
That
weird.
Makes
So
zero sense.
yeah, so he's like, so now all that's left is her womb and this baby, and
So
then
first off, if they killed all the xenomorphs and then blew up that thing, like the egg sac,
Uh-huh.
the queen wouldn't be able to lay any more eggs.
Correct. Yeah,
That's
because
some dumb shit.
Yeah, because now the queen has a human like reproductive system, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
that's not really cool.
Yeah, and so that's why she's laying on her back, and then essentially she gives birth to a baby alien.
Actually, she gives birth to an hour and 36 minutes, what I call a humanomorph.
Yeah,
And the humanomorph then just beats the shit out of the queen.
Yeah, dude, it rips her jaw off.
And
man.
I was like, whoa!
Yeah. And it's a pretty disgusting looking baby.
Oh,
Like, it's
wow.
weird
It's so
looking.
gross. And then it has like human eyes,
Yeah.
sort of, like these black eyes, so it
Yeah,
like looks at
It's
it
like got
a
part
dog.
human skull. It's got a
Oh,
weird
man.
little twitchy nose.
And then it likes Ripley
Yeah.
and then licks her.
Yeah, because the scientist says, "Oh, it thinks you're its
Its
mother."
mother.
Yeah, and he calls it a beautiful, beautiful butterfly.
Yeah, because as it emerges out of
Yeah.
it bursts out of the
Yeah.
essentially the
yeah, because
over, like, I don't know.
the ovipositor. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
it's
wrote
so
that quote.
gross.
He goes, "You are a beautiful, beautiful butterfly." That's
Oh
how he
my
says it. It's
God.
so weird and creepy.
But and
yeah,
then
'cause
the
he tells
dude
it to
walks
come over, yeah.
and
It's
then
like,
just
"Come on,
takes a
come here."
huge ass chunk out of his head.
Yeah, it just bites his head.
And I'm like, and then they show it, and then it's just
Yeah.
like seeping
Yep.
blood out of it, and I'm like, dude, it looks like a gauntlet.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So
it
then,
was gross.
Ripley takes off.
Yep,
She's like,
and
"Nope."
She's like, shit, and like running down all these hallways.
Yep.
And then she does the long jump.
Yep, because the
cinematic
Betty's
long jump.
Yep, the Betty's pulling out of the station and calls like, "Oh shit, Ripley!" So then they open the hatch again, and then Ripley fucking jumps on, and she even goes, "Yeah."
Yeah, but does the whole thing.
Yep.
The whole cinematic shot.
Yep.
And then the humanomorph.
Oh wait, we get a really good quote here too. I
Okay,
just want
what's
to
the
say.
quote? Yeah.
So as she's walking in, Ron Perlman goes, "I thought you were dead," and she goes, "Yeah, I get that a lot."
Yeah. That's,
It's so cool.
and then Wheelchair's all mad.
Yep.
And really stressed out because he doesn't know how to fly the ship.
Oh yeah.
And so Ripley gets on there, and they're like, "You know how to fly this ship?" And then she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah,
like,
this piece of shit's older than I am.
Yeah. And then they start flying away. And then it says, "Can't leave. The door is open." And so Winona Ryder goes back to try and close the door.
Yep.
And then the humanomorph is on the board, which I'm like, wait, the door closed when it wasn't on that side. So how is it on the
Yeah.
other side of the door and then does this like, "Oh, help you," and then
Yeah.
closes the door
Yeah, 'cause
for Winona Ryder? I'm like, but
assuming it ran as fast as Ripley, if
but
not faster.
they're in that room when they land and it closes to that level. So the thing is it would have had to jump exactly at the same time
Right,
as Ripley.
exactly.
And they just didn't notice that?
Yeah, like it basically had to have shown up at the same time as Ripley, unseen, and
there's
gotten
no
into
way
the
you
ship.
wouldn't be missing that motherfucker.
Yeah, because the thing is twice as big as Ripley. Like it's like 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
And it's huge, and there's no way it could run that fast. Not based on the way it looked. Like there's no way it could have ran
Yeah.
that fast. So
But, yeah,
somehow
for
it
some-
ends up on the ship.
But it also decides to give like this pet-like smile in helping Winona Ryder
Yeah.
close the door.
Yeah.
And then I wrote, then the military guy goes down there,
Yeah.
and then just gets mushed
Yeah.
by the humanomorph.
Have you seen that? Well, it's just like the ending scene in season 4 of Game of Thrones, with Oberyn or whatever. And then I crush that skull like this. It's like same. He died the same way. The humamorph or whatever put her hands on his skull, fucking just crushed it like a grape.
I don't remember that.
That's season 4. You don't remember Oberyn?
Oh, maybe that was early on.
Yeah,
Maybe that
when
was
the
early.
Viper fights the mountain.
Okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Same style of death.
Yeah. And then, so Ripley goes back there and tries to like go, "Oh, baby, this,
Yeah.
that, the other," and then she starts like doing the weird newt rub, and I'm like, dude, this is so weird.
Yeah, she's basically like caressing.
Yeah, and
the
then
alien.
then she takes her hand and glides it over the teeth and cuts
Yeah.
herself, and I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing, but what?
Yeah.
And then takes her blood, and then does this like flick,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm like, first off, bullshit. There's no way that you're a good 10 feet away from that window, and it's the size of like a porthole.
Yeah.
And there's no way you were able to splash blood in that perfect area. Anyway, it starts melting and corroding the glass, and then the acid blood to open the window, and it begins to get sucked out through a tiny hole.
Yeah.
And drains into space. I'm like, dude, this is so messed up.
It is pretty gruesome, like, because like at first the alien starts getting sucked out, and then it starts pulling away, but then it gets stuck again, and it's
well,
like,
and then all of like the
guts,
fat
yeah,
gets sucked into that hole, and I'm like, dude,
yeah,
calm
and then
down.
her body just like splits open, and then all the guts start pouring out, and then all of a sudden it's just like bones.
Yeah,
like,
last thing is the skull, and then it
Yeah.
crushes into itself and goes through. Then at this moment, the ship impacts into Earth.
This
and
part's-
just fucking explodes.
And this part's fucked, dude, because it lands in South Africa, and it has like the amount of explosion of like several nuclear explosions.
well, also, firstly, this is done terribly CGI. Because it's like the ship like gets closer and closer, and then it just disappears and it blows up.
Yeah, it's just
and
an
just like
explosion.
explosions in the spot of where it was. But I'm like, okay, what? First off, the plan of if this happens, it's supposed to go back to Earth.
Well, they Winona Ryder changed it when she had herself plugged in. She like at first it's like, oh, there's only 80 something minutes, and then before they leave, she's like, oh, we only got 43 minutes now, and basically what it is she had set the ship on a collision course to Earth, so it was going twice as fast.
Okay. I was very confused with that.
Yeah, that's the reason why it crashed. Because at one point they asked her, I think Ron Perlman's like, 43 minutes? We were supposed to have like 90 or whatever. And she's like, I'll explain it later. And then as they're running to the ship or whatever, I think she briefly mentions that she put it on a collision course with Earth.
So we see Earth's horizon at an hour and 48 minutes in for the first time in the Alien franchise.
Sorry, I just want to mention, though, again, it crashes into South Africa.
Yes.
And so at first, like, before you mention what you're going to talk about, because
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to say something about it, I'm thinking, like, shit, man, that sucks for all those people in South Africa.
Yeah.
Like, that was probably millions of people that just died because the ship itself was, like, the size of the fucking continent. Like,
Yeah.
the ship was huge or at least the size of the country. Like, it landed in the entire
like,
southern Cape of Africa. It was crazy. But then we go to Earth.
Yeah, for the first time ever in the Alien franchise.
Yes.
We see
Well,
I guess in the Aliens part of it.
yeah, like this
not
latter
including
half.
Covenant. Yeah,
Yeah.
not including Covenant and Prometheus. This is the first time we're seeing.
Well, even then, I don't. Oh, well, I guess Prometheus, but I don't think they were on Earth in Covenant, were they? Oh,
Yeah,
the
'cause
first scene
they're-
with
they're-
David and all that.
Yeah.
Well, and even and in
No, they're
AVP,
looking in the caves.
That's in Prometheus,
You're right. Yeah, that's in Prometheus.
but in Covenant, there's that first scene with David and what's his face.
yeah.
But AVP
And
too.
what's his face? Waylon.
Yeah.
the guy.
Yeah. But AVP too, I guess, technically speaking.
Yeah, I was just talking about this part of it, but yeah, and then Hellboy kisses Wheelchair Man
Oh yeah.
right
yeah.
on the lips. Doesn't
Yeah,
hold
'cause-
back on that.
Yeah.
He does
And
not
he has
hold
this
back
big
on
old
that.
smile on
Yeah.
his face because they do survive. The Betty ends up getting off the ship and they end up surviving the explosion. And
Yeah,
everything.
and then I wrote Earth does look like shit.
Yeah.
And coincidentally enough, the director
Oh.
being a Frenchman, Paris, an hour and 49
Yeah,
minutes in.
and
was the
ironically
last
enough,
scene.
too, right after Notre Dame just caught fire.
Oh man.
Yeah, because that happened
I guess so,
yesterday.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that dates this. So when you guys are watching this, that's what.
Yeah, that's I guess
Yeah.
yeah, because that's a big fucking thing that just happened. But,
Yeah. No, that is definitely interesting.
But yeah, it is kind of funny. Yeah, because when it pans out, because basically Call's like, "What are we gonna do now?" And Sigourney Weaver's like, "I don't know." And she's like, "Well, we could easily get lost out here or whatever." And then she's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Earth. This is the first time I've ever been here or whatever." And because it's clone Ripley, real Ripley has been to Earth before. But then when it pans out, you see like a fallen Eiffel Tower and fucking like basically a destroyed Paris. And I'm assuming that the entire Earth, because then this is the reason why I don't feel so bad about South Africa anymore. I'm assuming the entirety of Earth is basically scorched and like they've left Earth at this point because it's 200 years in the future. So maybe Earth is no longer habitable.
Yeah, because it seems like everyone's pretty okay with traveling in space now.
Yeah, and they even mentioned like how Ron Perlman's like Earth's a shithole, and everybody's like, "Oh God, we're going back to Earth." But it's like if that's their home base, then there must be some parts of Earth that's
Or it could
inhabited.
be an old system.
But yeah, maybe that ship's just been out there for a while. Who knows?
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
And
that
then
is the
yeah,
end of the
and then
film.
cut to black screen.
Yeah, which is the first time that that happens because usually it fades out on either Ripley. Actually, it just does that.
Yeah, it's
That's-
usually
that's-
always Ripley or her dialogue.
I guess it technically faded out on Ripley, but whatever. Fades
Yeah.
out on Paris.
And then this is the first Alien movie I think where there has been more than one survivor at the end of the movie because it's wrong. Well, as far as the people who encountered the alien, not count because in the last one the people who came.
No, because Newt and Hicks and
Oh right,
Ripley
yeah, duh. I
and
totally forgot.
there's
Sorry,
four
my
people.
My
This is
bad.
the most.
My bad. I forgot. Yeah,
Wait,
'cause-
did they beat him? Ripley, Newt, Hicks,
And then Bishop.
And Bishop.
Yeah.
And then in this one, it's Wheelchair,
Call-
Hellboy,
Yeah, Call
Call,
and,
Ripley.
and that's it.
Oh, so tied.
Yeah, because I totally forgot because I was thinking in the manner of them dying at the beginning of the third movie, so I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I
Man,
forgot they
dude, that
survived
soldier
at the end of the
dude.
second movie.
If he only lasted 20 more minutes, they would have made it.
Yeah, dude, it's
He
kind of
fucking
sucks
died.
for him because he basically walked in to go be like, hey, what are you doing down here? And then he get his head fucking crushed.
Yep.
like,
Like a watermelon,
yeah, and he was like one of the lucky soldiers to survive through the rest of the xenomorphs because
but
everybody else
not all of
escaped.
them. Not
Yeah.
the humnomorph.
Yeah. So yeah, because most of the soldiers escaped with the evac, like because there were 42 enlisted, and I'd say at least a good 10 to 12 soldiers died from the xenomorphs because I want to say there were like 8 to 10 spots on each escape pod, and at least 2 escape pods got off the ship. So at least 20 soldiers survived, if not maybe a few more.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of that movie. Let's head over to our IMDb corner, shall we? Director is Jean-Pierre Jeunet, I believe is how you say it.
Janot.
Jeannot?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's French.
I mean, I assume by the Jean-Pierre. JP.
Where? What the fuck?
So let's head into trivia.
Okay, hold on a sec. I gotta get to the movie here.
Do you
There
want
we
me to
go.
go first, or you want?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. So what are we sorting by? Spoilers, interesting, or top votes? Oh wait, let's interesting or top votes. Let's go interesting.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, we're gonna do, since this is the last movie, we're gonna do a special 6. Number 1, in order to heighten contrasts, cinematographer Darius Kroger. Wow,
Konji, I guess.
there's a DGI at the end of his life.
Yeah, I think I'm assuming that's African.
Added silver to the printing process. This had the result of making the dark colors richer and giving everything else a metallic tinge. He also used an electric blue tint for the underwater sequence.
Oh yeah, I could definitely tell that was like a different color because that didn't look like real water.
Number 2, the first lines of the movie, "My mommy
here we go.
always said there were no monsters, no real ones, but there are," is taken from Aliens, 1986. Rebecca Newt Jordan originally said it. I didn't even know that she had a last name. Number 3, all of the spaceships in the film were miniatures,
Oh,
as
that's
visual effects supervisors believed CGI was not effective enough to create realistic spaceships. Good call. Good call. Number 4, in the scene which Ripley kills a xenomorph by shooting it in the head, Cal? Is that, or is it Call?
Call.
Okay. Call argues with the Betty crew that they cannot trust Ripley, which Christine oh, that's the other girl.
Oh, Christy.
Christy
Oh, okay. Yeah,
answers,
that's right.
"I don't trust anyone." This is a nod to the scene in the original Alien, 1979, which Ripley has an argument with Dallas about Ash bringing the facehugger back to Earth. Ripley tells Dallas that she doesn't trust Ash, and Dallas replies by telling her he doesn't trust anyone.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Number 5 in the special edition, where number 8 refers to the company, she is told that the Wayland Unity Corporation had been bought by Walmart. So there you go. Or is
Utani.
that? Utani, that's what it is. But yeah, so I guess that was a special edition thing, which is weird.
Yeah, that's probably why. Yeah, that's
Why is that?
It must.
in there.
It's just probably just extra
That's-
stupid information, I
That's
guess.
really stupid information. And number 6, Nigel Phelps based the design of the spaceship Betty on a jackhammer. The Auriga was originally to be a vertical structure, but he abandoned this idea once he realized the difficulty of capturing the scope of such a ship design on the film. Oh yeah, because since it's a miniature.
Yeah, and the ship was super long.
And the thing is yeah, if you wanted a wide shot of that, you'd have to be like really far away from it, and then that can mess up the aspect ratio if it's like trying to be in front of a planet, but then it's this really small thing because you're like trying to get the whole ship in there. But anyway, that's enough for trivia.
Oh, Brad Dourif was the name of the guy that played Grima Wormtongue. I was close. I knew it was Dourif, but I had the wrong first name.
All right, we're on to Loot Box. What do you want to do today there, Josh? Do you want to do quotes, goofs, crazy credits?
Let's do goofs.
Goofs!
I think I picked goofs last time, maybe, but
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
I like,
What are we sorting
I like
by?
this one. Let's do total votes.
Total votes going down. We're fine. All right, what are we doing? How many are we doing?
We can do 6 on this one.
6 of them. Number 1.
Oh, am I reading them?
Yeah.
At around an hour and 5 minutes, shockwaves travel very far in water. In the underwater scene, every human would have been killed instantly from the grenade launcher shot at the alien. Oh, shit. That's kind of funny. At around 23 minutes, in the fight in the gym, Ripley hits Christie with the basketball, knocking him to the floor. As he falls, he is no longer holding the barbell, but there is no sound of it hitting the floor.
Ooh. Number 3.
At around 1 hour 27 minutes, when Ripley awakens in the alien nest, the shot opens with one of the scientists speaking about evolution.
Evolution is a mystery.
Despite the speech delivered in his voice, the actor seems to just be making random movements with his mouth, as if he is literally saying blah, blah, blah. I didn't notice that.
Number
Wow.
4.
When Ripley is taken to the main alien hive, the scene opens with Getamin, that's the scientist, Brad Dourif's character, cocooned on the wall. While audio can be heard of him ranting about how the alien is now perfect, visually he's quite literally saying blah, blah, blah.
Damn, he got caught twice?
Damn, that is pretty crazy.
Come on there, man bun. Number 5.
In some scenes, just a few drops of Ripley's blood burns through thick metal. When Ripley undergoes surgery, the alien is removed with forceps. And in a deleted scene, Getamin holds open her chest with spreaders. Her blood should also burn the surgical tools, which it doesn't. So that's kind of funny.
And the last one, number 6. The last one of the season.
The
last goof of the season. What's it going to be?
Okay, hold on. I want to see if I can find a good one here.
Okay. Remember, this is the last one. It's going to be capping off season 1 of MovieKombat. Near the end of the film.
Yeah, we'll just go. I already lost my. Okay,
I have no idea where you were at.
Near the end of the film, Ripley flicks blood from the cut on her hand onto the window of the ship, which burns it. Just seconds later, when the room decompresses, she grabs a chain with the same hand and doesn't get burned.
Oh man, come on now.
I was trying to find the one with the basketball.
What do you mean the one with the basketball? Oh, where she throws it over the back.
Yeah, I just wanted to see because I wanted to see if that was like a one-time shot kind of thing or whatever. That might be under trivia.
Transpose it. Oh, the image is transposed East Africa, Red Sea, and Arabian. Flipped across the vertical axis. Oh, that's weird. Man, there's a lot. There's a lot to this movie. But let's head on to my favorite section, taglines. Taglines. Here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the board here. Let's go. Number 1. It's been more than 200 years. The beginning has just started.
Oh my god. Wow.
Number 2. We are not alone. Come on now.
Is that it? Really?
Yep. Number 3. Witness the resurrection.
That one's not too bad, I guess.
Number 4. Pray you die first.
Or pray I don't die at all.
Number 5, hell gives birth.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
What
So
is this, Doom?
does that mean that Ripley is hell?
I guess so.
Huh. Number 6, it's already too late.
Wow.
And number 7, beyond salvation.
Terminator Salvation.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. God, what a terrible tagline.
All right, let's over to the release date. What is our release dates for this magical film here?
All right, let's see. It looks like it was released in France first, I guess, because maybe it was because of the director. But it did say, I just read a quick blurb in there that said, because you were talking about how Ripley refused to do the third film, right? So initially she wasn't going to do this. I just happened to notice it. And it said that they basically drove a dump truck full of money to my house, and that's why she decided to do it. So,
but she's producer, so that means she gave some money to it.
Yeah, I guess so. But it was okay. So I guess the first screening, I'm assuming, was in Paris, France, on November 6th.
Yeah, this is all in order.
1997. And then we had Switzerland on November 12th and France on November 12th. French-speaking region of Switzerland, sorry. So I guess it was all in French probably first. And then...
nothing like getting a whole bunch of American actors in an American movie to be then showed in France, Switzerland, and then France again.
That's kind of weird. And then it came out in the United States in California, Westwood, California, on November 20th of 1997. So I guess it was a limited release. Maybe that was the red carpet. Then it came out in Canada, the Philippines, Puerto Rico, and the United States all on the same day of November 26th.
And that was probably the official release was November 26th, which is what I see here as well. The release date was November 26, 1997.
Yeah, and then it just basically went on to all the other countries. And then last but not least was Mexico, Todos Niños, on December 23rd of 2016.
Damn!
Wow.
Dude, at that point, you're just done.
Damn.
You don't even want it anymore.
Jeez. Yeah, poor Mexico. Maybe it was just that one area of Mexico. Oh, yeah, because Mexico got it in February of 98. So so I'm assuming that was like some kind of special filming. So the last official release was probably in Egypt on October 10th of 1998.
Last official showing.
Or showing, in a theater. And I guess these were like special showings in Mexico, maybe.
Let's head over to the box office. The budget for this film was $75 million, a little less than a lot of these other films were. Opening weekend in the United States cracked open a $16 million, $474,092 over that weekend. I don't know why I said dollars twice. Gross over the whole worldwide, $161,376,068. So they made their money back.
Most of that non-U.S. though. Because if you look at the U.S., out of that 161, only 47 and some change came from the U.S.
Yeah, it did.
It's pretty bad.
It did. That's not great. All right, let's head over to our next one, which is tech specs. Let's head over to some tech specs. What are some tech specs there, Josh?
Okay, so since we watched the special edition, the 2003 special edition, but the original runtime of the movie was 1 hour and 49 minutes, 109 minutes. Or if you watch the 2003 special edition, it's 1 hour and 56 minutes, 116 minutes. It looks like Dolby Digital and DTS sound mix. See, aspect ratio was 2.39 to 1. Camera, Aten 35i or LII Panavision Primo lenses. Panavision Panaflex Platinum Panavision Primo lenses. God, I love the names of these cameras.
Those are the cameras, and then those are the names
and the lenses with them. Yeah,
after the comment.
I love just how goofy they sound. Looks like film length in Sweden was 2,980 meters.
What?
But everywhere else, I guess, it was 3,054.
Okay.
It's strange. Negative format, 35 millimeter Kodak Vision 500T 5279 Eastman EXR 200T 5293. I guess those were the two types of negatives that they used.
Yeah.
Printed film format is 35 millimeter anamorphic.
Yeah, so everyone kept the 35 millimeter. Some people blew it up to 75 just for the theatrical release, though. And now let's head over to the one, the only, the last time the ranking of where we're gonna go with this film.
So we're ranking the film first, right? Before or are we gonna run down the
I mean, we could say what we got going on before we rank it if you want to.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know, it's
I
up to you.
just didn't know if we were gonna go over that.
Now I went first last time, I think, so I think you go first this time, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so go ahead. What do you give this film?
Okay.
Josh, what's the review here?
All right. So I did want to talk about Ellen Ripley's character a little bit because of the whole lines and stuff and what she said. So I will say that her character is definitely different in this movie, and that she's not like the same heroic character that we saw from Alien and Aliens, and obviously not the dumbed down version from Alien 3. So I do kind of give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt as being a different character because she's a clone and she's part xenomorph, so her mind works completely differently. So her acting weird throughout the movie is kind of acceptable, but not in a manner of like, oh, that's Ellen Ripley. Like, no, that's not Ellen Ripley. That's like a Xeno Ripley, basically. So it's not her. So I have to look at it from that
It's
standpoint.
a Ripnomorph.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty cool. I like that Rip
Yeah.
No More. So, but based on that, like as far as her character goes, she is a little weird in this movie. But Ron Perlman's character, I think, more than makes up for it because his character is fucking brilliant. Like, definitely on par with what's his face. God damn it. What's his name from the second one? Game over, man. I can't even
Bill
remember.
Paxton.
Bill Paxton, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would
Game over, man.
yeah.
Game over.
I would definitely put his character on par with
No, not par. He's not there yet.
I don't
Bill
know,
Paxton made that fucking movie.
See, and that's how I
even
feel.
better.
See, and I feel that Ron Perlman made this movie better.
He
So-
did, but he's not Bill Paxton level. He's good. I'm gonna give you that. He's good. He's not that part. But it's your review, so whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do with it.
because to me, if Ron Perlman hadn't been in this movie, I don't think it would have been as much fun.
That's probably true.
I don't think.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I don't think I would have been interested in it as much. And I just like most of the quotes that I wrote down were him interacting with Ripley. So as far as I'm concerned, those two made this movie for me. Some of the other characters are good, yeah, but I mean, for more or less,
Yeah,
they're all red
but-
shirts. and yeah, and I was gonna say, yeah, Christy, she had a nice tight outfit.
There's a lot of tight going on there.
This movie's not terrible. I don't think it's bad by any means. It's not great. I just say it's a fun popcorn flick. I would probably put it along the same lines around Predator 2, something like that. So I give this movie a solid middle of the road 7.
Okay, so 7 is worthy.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, it's not really
A 6
middle,
is a borrow.
not really middle of the road, but I'd say it's worthy of owning. I would
Okay.
say, it's
So
like,
it's better than borrowing the film.
yeah.
Okay,
Like
so
I
you
would
would give it
definitely
a
add it
7.
to the collection because this is one that if like you want to watch a goofy alien movie and you don't want to sit down and watch the serious ones and you want to just kind of have like some campy alien fun, just like with Predator 2, I think this movie is just great to put on. And Predators, I think we also gave a 7 or something. Yeah. So like this is one of those ones where I feel like you can put it on with a group of people, sit down, have some fun watching it, goof around about it. And if you know the previous movies, it's got a lot of in jokes, it's got a lot of like callbacks and things like that. And it's not so bad, like, I guess, for example, like Alien 3, where I start getting bored and don't want to watch it. Like, I don't think I got distracted while watching the movie, like, say for maybe one time when I had to, I think I had to get up to like go to the bathroom or something. And other than that, like I didn't stop watching the movie on purpose necessarily. So I think the movie's fun enough to watch on its own and to put in your collection, but it's not like, oh, it's not like I'm going to go back to this one like I would Aliens, like I've seen this movie a few times more than I've seen Alien 3, but I wouldn't watch this one on my first choice, like if I had to pick between the Alien movies. So yeah, so I give it a 7. I think it's worthy to own.
Okay. Let me just go ahead. I'm writing down where this one made it. I missed him on the no. Anyway, okay. You can see it on the.
Well, I didn't. I looked, but
Okay.
I can't. I don't know what number you wrote. So.
I did not think it. I think this one is definitely the largest gap we had
Mhm.
of all the movies. I'm gonna flat out say it. I gave it a 4.
Really?
I thought it was mediocre at best, and I almost gave it a 5, which a 5 is a meh. But I almost thought like you could honestly skip the movie. I don't think you need to see it to watch an alien movie, because the thing is first off, the whole humanomorph is stupid as shit. I think that's dumb. And I'm sorry, Joss Whedon. I love you, man. It's not a good idea.
Yeah, I would say that's like probably the worst part of the movie,
Yeah,
if anything.
and it's the selling point is what's stupid. If they had the queen like do shit, that would make it really cool. But the only purpose of the queen was to have the humanomorph. And
Yeah.
that's dumb. I think there's a lot of moments that are caused by why is that happening kind of moments.
Yeah.
Like, why did the doctors not know that they bleed acid? You've been studying these things for I don't know how long. You seem to be ballsy enough to create these things, so clearly you should have things in order. Why are they all grouped together? You don't have enough squares in the 2 boxes that you have. Like, you have to put 3 in each of these things. There's clearly enough for one of them to be in each of them. I don't know if that was an experiment. I don't know. But there's a lot of moments that are like, dude, you guys could have thought this out and caused it not to happen. Yeah. So I don't know. Believe me, there were moments where I almost wanted to just check out of the movie and just like start scrolling through stuff. Good parts about the movie though. It was interesting to see Sigourney Weaver take a different look on Ripley and try to add the elements of the xenomorph. Mm-hmm. So I was like, yeah, okay, I understand. Still really dumb. And Ron Perlman's character is obviously like the icon of this movie, which is not necessarily a good thing, because you know that the people that were supposed to be the leaders of this movie are Winona Ryder and Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
And Winona Ryder, other than the fact that she opens the door,
her character's pretty much useless.
Yeah, she doesn't really need to be there. She shows up because she's like, literally the only reason why she is on that thing is so that she can open up the elevator door later in the movie.
Yeah, because initially she went there to kill Ripley, and then she doesn't even do that.
Yeah, because she goes, well, might as well not kill you now because it's not in you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so what now? Like, and then the shit went sideways, so it's whatever. But why is shit going sideways now? Because I'm assuming they have been in that thing for a while. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, because they've gone through like 12. Well, she was the 8th clone, and apparently they have 12 or 15 or 25 xenomorphs living on the ship.
That's another thing. It's so inconsistent
of
what's happening that I just don't know. And then there are moments. Also, I have no idea who the hell anyone's name is on that thing.
Yeah, well, and I would have
the captain gets killed like in a really dumb way, really fast. And it's like, why is he surviving longer than the ass girl? Like, why? She's literally only in this movie so we can get an R rating and have sexual themes added to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason why she's in that movie. And so she can die later in the water. Like, everyone really doesn't have a purpose of being here. They're just kind of in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is fine. You can use that as a crutch, but then they have to have a purpose of existing. Like, they really don't have a purpose of existing other than causing more trouble for themselves.
Yeah, because essentially they dropped off the cargo and they didn't even have to stay, because that was actually a conversation that the deep voice guy and the General Perez had, because he was like, well, like, we could stay a couple days, and then the guy's like, okay, don't cause any trouble, don't fight, and immediately they cause trouble and get in fights.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that's when all the hell breaks loose. It was basically when these people showed up and then just started like causing shit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can see your point of, like you said, it was like a fun movie, sort of. I guess, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, but to me, a fun movie was Predator. Predators.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that to me was a fun movie. The characters didn't need to have names, and they full on took a turn into that. And I don't know, maybe they looked at this movie and they were like, maybe we don't need a character name, because that's probably what they were trying to do in this one.
Mm-hmm.
but they still had names, and because they kind of need them when they're yelling at each other down the hallway. I don't know. I just didn't find it too enjoyable. I don't think it's terrible. I just think it's a lot of stuff that happens that isn't necessary, and it kind of just keeps bogging it down more and more and more and more. And then eventually it's just kind of like the bad outweighs the good. Because, like I said, I almost gave it a meh. But then I was like, there's kind of more bad. Like, to me, a meh has maybe like 2 or 3 more good things than bad things. And it's like, this one didn't really do that. It kind of just kept having the bad stuff. I will give them kudos, practical effects. I love that. There was a lot of practical effects in this movie, and I'll give them bonus for that. But like I said, I think there's a lot of good things, but not enough to outweigh its anchors of that kind of bog it down a little bit. But it didn't go down too far. It got a 5.5.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say,
so it did get a meh.
out.
It got a meh 0.5, which brings it just below Alien Covenant and Prometheus, which in my mind,
Yeah.
not bad.
That's basically where I would see it,
Yeah.
like as far as out of the Alien movies, and then and even out of the group, like yeah, that seems about right to me. Because Prometheus and Alien Covenant, as ambitious as those two are trying to be, like they definitely have more weight to them than this movie does. And I can definitely I can see your point when you're saying like you don't need to watch this one, and I think that's the reason why. Like, well, one, it's the 4th in the series, so it's not necessary. Originally, there was a trilogy. There was never even going to be a plan for a 4th movie. And then, like Sigourney Weaver said, they basically showed up with a bunch of money and were like, hey, we want you to make this last one, please. Like, here's, like, a shit ton of money for you. And she's like, fine, I'll do it. But, like, she probably was like, under one condition, I'm going to help produce this, and I'm going to do what I fucking want, And she was probably like, I'm going to be this weird fucking half alien, half hybrid character. I'm going to be all fucking crazy and like sexualized and all strange and stuff.
They went buck wild on this game.
Yes.
This movie.
So I think this one, it had one of those, and with Joss Whedon too, like at that point in time, that was when he was writing Buffy, and I think he maybe was working on Firefly. Like I think Firefly was getting ready to come out pretty soon after that, and then so he was still kind of getting into his like steady writing career for like the shows and stuff, because like he had written a few shows prior to that, I think, but I'm not sure
When
if
did this movie come out? 97?
97, yeah, but I'm not.
Buffy started in 97.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say this is real early in his career, so I think he was still kind of finding his voice and kind of working out the kinks of his movies, and you can definitely see the Joss Whedon in this based on some of the dialogue and the
then Firefly
interactions.
came in 2002.
Okay, yeah, so he was still
Came
pretty
and went.
early. Yeah, I miss Firefly, dude. That's one of my favorite shows.
02 to 03.
Yeah, and then they had the movie to like kind of end it off, but
Well, Serenity's really good. So.
yeah, I like that movie too. It was pretty good. But yeah, so I think that's why I say this one to me is like a popcorn flick, because like
Sure.
like granted, yeah, the movie's got tons of problems. I do not deny that. But I think it's one of those movies where it's like kind of so cheesy and bad that it's good.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why it's like really cool that we do the 2 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Like you give a score, I give a score, and then it's the average of that score. And I wish if there were more people, obviously we'd get a better average. But we give it a 5.5. But you think of it this way: if you prefer, like the kind of the cool thing about us giving the 2 different sides is now you can figure out which one do you more side with.
Yeah.
Like, do you like Josh's opinions more, and then you tend to watch, like if he says, "Oh, this movie's great," then you might enjoy it a lot more than the people that may agree with me more. Because that's
Right.
the thing. That's kind of the cool thing about reviews, and the reason why I like reviews is you kind of find the point of them is you find the person you like the same interests with.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I was watching a lot of IGN stuff when I was going through high school, I liked Greg Miller's reviews, and every time a Greg Miller would say something about, "Oh, this game is awesome on the PS Vita," like I was like, "Oh, I'll give it a shot because you like every game that you tend to like, I like." So you kind of find the reviewer that you like, and that's kind of how, that's why we do the reviews.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
to give it.
I'm
kind
sure
of the
we've got
standard
people out there who like have like-minded opinions.
And who knows?
as
Maybe you
one or the
totally
other of
disagree with us, and you think
or
this
that.
is other shit. And
Yeah.
that's your own thing too.
That's probably true. Or there could be somebody who maybe this was their first Alien movie, and so they're pretty nostalgic about it, and they think it's really fucking cool.
That's true too.
You know?
Yeah, you might think it's a 10.
Yeah.
Don't think it's 10.
Yeah. That
We
would
gave Aliens a 10.
yeah,
You think it's on par with that? I think you need to walk out the door.
Yeah, you need to study cinema a little bit more then, because you obviously.
I like it. We just totally shit on the whatever we just said.
Yeah.
Everything we said. We're like, oh yeah, you
have
know,
your own opinions, but don't have the wrong
have
opinion.
your own opinion, but fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, I and it's really cool too, because I think there was one other movie. Was it Predator 2? Was the one that we had? Well, because like I was gonna say, we had a different score on Predator 2, right? Because
Oh, you want to actually know the thing?
Yeah, because I think
Okay,
I'll
I'll run it down if you want.
Because I think I gave Predator 2 a 7, and I think you gave it a 5, and I think that's why I got 6.5.
So in no particular order, I'm just gonna read all these down. Predator, I gave an 8. You gave a 9. 8.5. Predator 2, me 6.5. Josh 7.
Oh, okay.
Or sorry, I gave a 6. You gave a 7. 6.5.
Oh, okay.
AVP, me 5. You 5. 5. AVPR, me 4. You 3. 3.4. Or sorry, 3.5. The Predator, me 4. You 5. 4.5. Predators, me 7. You 7. 7 solid. Prometheus, me 6. You 6. 6 solid. Alien Covenant, me 7. You 5.
Oh, that was the one. That was
and then
different.
solid 6. Alien, me 8. You 8. Solid 8. Aliens, me 10. You 10. Solid 10. Alien 3, me 4. You 5. 4.5. Alien Resurrection, me 4. You 7. 5.5. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I think the
Okay,
biggest
so-
separation.
Yeah, besides this one was Covenant.
Yeah, but even that's not that big of. That's only like 5, 6, 7. So 2.
Yeah, because it's just
as
2
opposed
points.
to 4 is 4, 5, 6,
Yeah,
7.
this,
It's
yeah,
3
this
points.
is 3 points.
Yeah. So yeah, there you go. But since I rattled them all off, why don't you tell us what our final movie
All
combat
right.
score
So,
of the leaderboards are? Who
all right.
won? Start at number 12 first. Let's go. Is that our?
I don't know. I'm just doing some kind of thing. I was just trying to think of a song.
You gotta remember it now. Though you gotta
Yeah.
do the banjo.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
Well, I was
ding,
trying to
ding.
think of what the actual Mortal Kombat song was, because the original Mortal Kombat arcade game is like, it's just this nondescript like music.
Oh.
Okay, so
Number 12.
number 12.
No, you
so-
got to give the countdown voice.
Oh yeah. Number 12.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
So coming in at a score of 3.5, our 12th place is AVP Requiem.
Oh boy,
God, that was a terrible movie.
that was a trog through, but
Yeah.
there you go.
Number 11. Tied for number 11, we have two movies with a score of 4.5. We have Alien 3 and The Predator, the 2018
Yes.
version.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I always get that year wrong. Okay, and then
I know. I kind of wrote over them, and
I
in
just have to
pencil.
find the right one. Number 9, we have AVP at a score of 5. Number 8 comes Alien Resurrection with a new score of
5.5.
5.5.
Did I not write the score next to it?
I don't think you did.
Okay,
no.
well, there you
Number 7, tied at number 7, we have Prometheus and Alien Covenant, which is pretty kind of funny because they're basically the same movies. Like
Yeah.
they're
Though
you know-
after watching this last movie, I kind of am glad Ridley Scott went back to make these other two.
yeah,
Like if we would have saw these in
like release date
yeah,
order.
I might have gave those higher rankings because I would probably appreciate them more because those are the first Alien movies I saw.
Oh right, yeah.
And so I already was like, yeah, they're good, but it's
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, and you look at them with different eyes too after you see all the movies and you kind
But
of see
I'm
the whole
kinda-
grand spectrum.
I'm
of
kind of
things.
glad I watched them in the chronological because it's like they need to be told in this story, and you made it a prequel, so I gotta watch it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of weird because certain movies you can do that with, and certain movies you can't.
Yeah.
You know, like the Star Wars, you never watch that in chronological order. You watch that in release date order only.
Yes.
Okay, so tied at number 7 with a score of 6 is Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Number 5 is Predator.
Cinco.
Is Predator 2 at a score of 6.5. Number 4 is Predators with a score of 7.
Man, I never thought that would have landed at a 4
It
spot.
it is kind of funny
Because it was at number 2
yeah,
for a while.
yeah,
And then got knocked down a lot.
yeah. There were a couple of movies that kind of kicked it out.
Yeah.
Number 3 is the original 1979 or 79, right? Yeah, 79 Alien. At 8 score of 8. I'm getting all my numbers mixed up here. I'm pretty sure it was 79 because it came out after Star Wars. Number 2 is the Predator, or no, just Predator. Sorry,
I got that mixed
this
up
is where
too,
we
yeah.
start getting 1987 Predator. Let's just say that.
Yes. Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Yes,
Predator. That's what
with
it
a
was.
score of 8.5,
Which was our number 1
and yeah,
for 10 weeks straight.
yes, it held
Until
until our number one. With a score of 10, coming down that aisle, Aliens!
coming down the runway.
Yeah, it's coming to accept its reward. So our season champion for MovieKombat Season 1, the Aliens Predator universe, Aliens, the sequel to the Ridley Scott 1979 movie, directed by James Cameron.
Yes, good old James.
Yeah, with a solid perfect 10, which is and rightly deserved.
Yeah.
Like that movie is absolutely perfect. Well, I mean it does have its hiccups, but you know,
but I mean, it has
nothing's
Bill Paxton
100%.
in
Yeah,
there.
I would
It
say that
has-
movie's like a 99.98%.
Movies don't get quoted all the time.
Yeah.
unless you're an instant classic.
Yeah, and this movie
Game
is
over, man.
stands the test of time. Like it's even the CGI and all that kind of stuff. Some of it might be a little dated, but the practical effects in it are so good, and you know, it looks so good. Like I don't even think there's CGI in it. Maybe there's like composited shots with like miniatures,
know.
but I don't know. Either way,
I don't
Aliens.
remember. I think everything is all real.
Yeah, I think it's all practical and miniatures. So yeah, Aliens is just a perfect fucking movie, and everybody should at least watch that one. If they're not going to watch any other movies on this list, and they've listened to this entire thing for some reason, and we're like, oh yeah, well now I think I might go back and actually watch one of these. Watch Aliens.
Yeah, everyone mostly gives it a 10.
Yeah.
Mostly. I'm not gonna lie, man. I
Mommy
really
told me there
tried.
were no bad movies, no real ones, but she was wrong. There are bad movies.
Yeah, man. It has been a long journey,
Yeah.
and first off, we got to take a second here. Thank you,
Oh, good
PT
call.
Nation,
Yeah.
for tuning in with us. Again, we recorded all this before this aired. We wanted to get the show all recorded. It was kind of a different take on what we try to get more organized. We actually recorded this during the same time as season 2 of PT 3600, and so you guys have already listened to PT 3600, and we obviously this show
Yeah.
was the premiere after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say we might have referenced a little bit,
We
or
referenced-
I might have mistakenly
we
said
referenced
some
a
things.
couple times, or you
Yeah.
wanted to make
Yeah,
a joke,
yeah.
but we couldn't make the joke
Yeah.
because it was,
I was damn it.
we have to hold off on it. But now you guys have made it through. If you guys have made it all the way through, I want you guys to put in the comment section that you did, because we just want to know if you guys did make it all the way through MovieKombat season
12 solid weeks.
Yeah,
of
what's
listening
even
to
crazier is most of these are 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So there are 24 hours of recorded content that we made.
You've listened to
for-
a day worth of us
Yes,
just bullshitting about movies.
exactly. And I thank you for that. I mean,
That is really cool.
if you guys liked the show, please put in the comment section of anything that we do
Yeah.
saying that you love MovieKombat. Just write hashtag MovieKombatLove. Or you can write MKLove.
yeah. And then people will be like, why are they talking about Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One or the other, it doesn't matter. We'll know what you're talking about. Just
But
put in the
yeah,
comment section
I'm-
of anything that
I'm
you're
sure
listening
we
to.
will.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap things up for MovieKombat Season 1. High five, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that appeared on the thing, but we high fived.
There
you
you
go.
That'll count.
Thank you for doing the Foley work on that.
Yeah.
Ladies
Look
and gen-
alive, self. High five.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for MovieKombat. Love you guys, PT Nation. Make sure you do the whole thing. Social media links are in the description below. Share this like the plague. PT Nation, roll wild.
I've never heard that one before.
I thought I'd add something there.
Roll wild. I kind of like that.
We'll see you guys in the next show, wherever it is you're listening.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Laters.
Game over, man. Game over. Game
Kill
over,
me!
man.
Come on, just kill me!
Come on, do it now.
But I'm fast.
I forgot about that one.
I thought you were dead. I get that a lot.
Oh my god.
it's,
But I'm fast.
it's my favorite quote. I was saying that. I was saying that in the car the other day when I was driving. I just kept going, but I'm fast.
Oh
But I'm fast.
God.
Like, and I kept passing people.
We were supposed to outro this thing, and now we just we're mostly
yeah,
done.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.